I wonder how many people were booting and rallying during the revolution. Just like, let's go. I'm ready. Lemons are the only way to keep immigrants out of your yard. That's a husband's yarn.
They don't know what's going on. They're calling up their wives like, babe, I ran out of cats to cook. What do I eat? The crowd goes wild. They hoist him up. They crowd surf him to town. They bring him to his wife's grave. They dig her up. He spits on her. They put her back in the ground.
True story. Welcome to Overshadowed, everybody, the only podcast about the siblings and spouses of famous people. My name is Zach.
I'm Charles.
And this week we're going to cover brother of millionaire Chicago mobster Al Capone, who also made his life in crime, Salvatore Frank
Capone.
Thank you, Charles.
You're welcome. I was trying to surprise you.
Shut the hell up. The first Capone brother we're going to cover, because he has several, and they're very interesting. So we're probably going to do a next episode about Al Capone's Prohibition officer brother, who changed his name to match that of a movie character, and he's kind of a nut.
Ooh.
But today, we're going to be talking about Frank Capone. I'm happy to be back. Happy to be back at the stand.
Yep, we're back at the stand. We were on a 5-week hiatus, and now we're back in business.
That's
ready
right.
to deliver.
I was quarantined in a hotel. I literally couldn't leave. Did a thing that I guess we'll talk about later.
You did a TV thing.
Did a
you
TV
had to be
thing
in a
that I
hotel
can't,
the whole time, right?
I can't talk about. Yeah, I did a little.
He was on Survivor, everybody.
I was on Survivor, and it's fake. It's shot in a hotel. I
in
know you
Queens.
think it's on a beach, but it's in Long Island City.
It's at the pool at Long Island City,
yeah, there
Queens.
was no pool, which is inhumane. Can I tell you real quick before we start how this coffee came to be?
Sure.
I hate this.
You're holding a coffee.
I'm holding a coffee for the
It
audio.
looks like
for the audio only listeners. There is a coffee in the
for
studio.
the true listener, it looks like you got it at a bodega.
Okay, so I got it from a truck, and I'm rummaging around in my. It's fine, it's good coffee, but
Sure.
I'm rummaging around in my backpack looking for my wallet, and my backpack is like it's like a Mary Poppins purse.
Mm-hmm.
There's so much shit in there, and I can never find my wallet that I just haphazardly
You just
throw in there.
But you remember that you have thrown it.
I
in.
hope it's like
Jeez.
I have to take everything out sometimes. It's a real pain, but. I can't find my wallet, and this is kind of heartbreaking. The only cash I have in my backpack is this $2 bill that is a small game man.
That your grandma.
that we had gotten as a donation from Freestyle that I vowed never to spend because it's cool to have a $2 bill.
Sure.
And I'm like, oh, shit. And so I gave it to the guy. And I'm like, I don't have anything else to pay for this coffee but this. And he gives me this look that's like, what the fuck? I'm like...
It's still money, buddy.
It's legal. I literally was like, no, it's legal currency. It's just like, yes. I was a hair away from saying tender. It's legal, tender. This guy gave me a pissy look. I'm like, I'm giving you kind of a cool thing.
Yeah, it is. Well, was he a guy that grew up here?
No. No, I think
Maybe he never heard about the $2 bill?
He probably learned the Star Spangled Banner when he was 25 just to gain access.
You probably gave him his first $2 bill.
To the
That's pretty
promised
cool.
land. Yeah,
hopefully
well,
he taped it to the side of the truck.
He didn't. He
probably threw it away.
He's going to give some... No, he's not throwing away money. He's probably going to use it to give people change or something.
Yeah. Well, that's
that was kind of sad.
Sorry you lost your $10. Yeah,
I'm staking a lot on this episode.
I would have walked away from that coffee. I'd been like, look,
coffee.
I don't have any money. I'm crazy. Fuck you! Just bleed insanity. You start talking to yourself.
He pours the coffee back. He's like, I don't know what that freak's doing.
What the hell is that guy doing? That'd be a funny thing to get out of pain for something. Just plead insanity. A lot of people don't realize you can plead insanity outside of court.
Yeah.
You just become an insane person.
Yeah.
And you can get out of any bill, no matter the restaurant. Please sign up for my master class.
Every time I walk across the street and there isn't a walk sign, I'm like, ah!
Yeah.
It's just so no one arrests me.
Yeah.
And that actually draws more attention to my crime.
Leave him alone. Leave him alone. That's 2 Bill Zach. Today, we are covering none other than the older brother of Al Capone, Frank Capone, today. Yes, the whole family was involved in the mob in one way or another. We will get to the rest of the siblings later, but today we're going to talk about the brief life of Frank Capone, born Salvatore Capone. He was in charge of one of their South Side Chicago suburbs.
The Kingdom of Cicero.
Kingdom of Cicero.
He was the enforcer over the suburb of Cicero, Illinois, which has 80,000 people in 2022. So it couldn't have had more than 50,000. 50 total in 19 1920.
yeah.
Right, but so yeah, Frank was this enforcer who we'll talk about really intimidated people to vote for this crooked Republican governor, or this crooked Republican local
Town
like municipal town
it's
councilman.
like a city council member. They had
It's
this
so easy to take over a suburb. You go to a local election, you wave some guns around, and it's yours.
You go, who's in charge of the HOA here?
Right. He's like, everybody vote Republican. Also, grass no higher than 2 inches.
Yeah.
Huh? I don't want to see any jungles in your yards.
Cans out every Monday.
I saw some monkeys swinging around over by Herbert's excuse for a lawn the other day. I don't know.
Herbert's excuse for a lawn.
I don't know, man.
That's good.
That
Keep
is
that
good.
in.
Keep it in.
Herbert's excuse for then they point a gun and kill him. You think I'm fucking joking? Like, what the fuck?
Herbert's excuse for a head. Gone.
Yeah, Frank was apparently the bloodiest Capone.
Yeah, he ordered something like 500 deaths.
And he died at 28, so that's a lot to get done.
Him,
And that was
Kurt Cobain. Oh, 27. They're in the 27
Yes,
club.
he was
Damn,
28. I
1
know.
year you missed it. But hey, I'm 28, so
you still,
I got to kill 500
you
people
got a lot
if I want to be
you got a lot of
close.
bodies to count,
I got
buddy.
a lot of bodies.
Start with me, please. I've had a rough week.
Yeah.
I want to be killed.
Yeah. You had a rough week?
I just think it was funny. No,
Guys,
I had a good.
just need to pause. I want to make sure my co-host is. Have
Thanks
you
for
had a rough
checking
week?
in, dude. This podcast is brought to you by
BetterHelp, which is really just texting me, and then I text you, and you give me $250 a month
And
because
you give
I don't value my time.
thumbs up emoji. I've been looking into going to a therapist, or it's like I need to see therapy, and
You
I
ever?
realize I've done 5 appointments in my life, and when I was a kid,
So
in
no.
the divorce, I did therapy. They have to put kids into therapy.
I would say no.
I don't know, dude.
Is your answer.
I drew a lot of cool things in kid therapy that really
you
helped me
draw?
out. To be honest, I sat there angrily. I was a kid that was like, I don't need therapy.
Your answer is no.
And then we
You've
went to
never
therapy.
been to therapy. You've never
I've been.
willingly opened yourself.
I've never opened myself
to
up.
therapy.
Yeah, well, I would. Yeah.
You did what I did in church.
No, I did. I went to a therapist. I got like 5 free therapy visits when I was 20 off of an insurance plan because I didn't have the money to go. But my insurance gave me, and I went to this guy's house.
They're like, if you're this poor, you're going to need some help. That's how bad your insurance was.
But only 5, which I had a premise where I was like, that's it. 5 free therapy visits is not enough because 5 is enough to realize you have a problem but not get help for it.
Yeah.
Okay, I think you have abandonment issues, and I'm like, great. Can we work on that? Hello? We're out of time, and I'll see you never. I don't know. I never finished it.
Well, that's 5 out of 5. He just
Yeah.
stamps you on the head.
Yeah, you are healed.
Fucked. No, you're done. You're screwed.
I did the.
Yeah, it's funny. He just awakens a demon that you don't have the tools to
Yeah,
tame.
and they send you back out. Yeah.
Because that's the thing. If also like dating a therapist, it's like
Oh, yeah,
it gets worse before it gets better a lot because you dredge out all of the problems, and the first step is acknowledging the problem, that you have a problem. But a lot of people are sub-acknowledgement, so they have to just reach there. So your 5 therapy visits is just enough to unearth a lot of this shit.
Yeah, and then live your life
Without having any cognitive tools to cope.
Yeah, before I didn't know what the problem is. Now I know what the problem is, but I still don't know how to solve it.
I think you're pretty good, though, at reinforcing yourself,
I try to
affirmation.
be. I try to be. Yeah, it's tough out there.
Just positive reinforcement, I feel like you try to give yourself.
I thought I was fine. Like, I thought I never needed therapy because I was only checking in with myself. And when you're your own, it's really easy to smell your own shit.
Yeah, you ever check your own grades?
Yeah.
Like, grade your own paper. I'm going to say the correct answers. Honor system.
Nobody better have an erasable pen.
I'm suddenly brilliant.
Yeah, exactly.
A+.
I got 100 in this class.
Or like you grade you pass your paper to the left. So you're like grading other
That's
kids' papers.
the best.
That's good.
Girl you like? Change it to D.
Change it to D. For mine. Yeah. All right, let's get back into Frank Capone. Hold on. Before we talk about Frank Capone and kind of how he ruled Cicero, we are going to talk about just Prohibition, and then before that, it's going to be a fucking information chocked episode.
Yeah.
So, chocked?
Chalk?
Chocked full.
Chalk.
Chalk.
Chock full of information.
We're going to throw a lot of chalk at you.
Yeah.
It's going to be dry and chalky.
Get into the chalk zone.
You're really going to want some water after you digest all this chalk.
And you're going to I hope you have a hose because we are going to chalk up your driveway.
Yeah, I hope your blackboard's empty because we got a lot of chalk coming your way.
Everybody, clear your blackboards because this episode involves a lot of chalk.
It's chock full of chalk.
Hope you guys got erasers.
Chaka Khan.
That's our Chaka Khan. Hold on now, I got to think of one.
Uh-huh. Chick Chock.
Chick Chock. That's good.
Come on.
Chocolate. Hope you... Chakalaka.
That's too close to Chaka Khan.
Okay, yeah.
Boo.
Boo.
Bring in the next host.
Oh.
It's like the next
Hey,
bus.
Chris.
I have Marcelo Hernandez out there. It becomes a completely different podcast. We're both like, "What's up, dude?
What's up, dude? We out here 405. I don't know. That's not how he talks
Is
at
that
all.
how I mean, no, he does have like,
He has like
an ethnic accent that he speaks in, but I don't think it's that one.
No, I don't think
I
it's
think it's a different one.
I don't know. It's all just one,
Went
right?
Japanese, should have gone Chinese.
Okay, so
That's actually where Torrio and Al Capone operated initially. The 5 Points was Chinatown. That's like
What-
That's
yeah,
where
what
the
now
5
is
Point.
modern
What
day.
now is Chinatown used to be like
all the
Italian, Irish, Jewish,
Jewish.
Scottish. So you're just repeating what I'm saying.
I was trying to do it on.
Why? Why
I'm
do we need to
echoing you.
synchronize?
You need a reverb.
Do I? They're already here. Are you saying they're
No,
not
they
going to
need
listen to me?
Did you read the reviews? We need more effects.
We need more harmony.
I'm about to install a wah pedal.
I love the melody, but a little more harmony
Yeah,
could be
please.
good. Oh, I'd love a wah pedal.
That'd
on our
be
boy.
Capone.
But yeah, so before we get into Prohibition, we're going to talk about just the history of drinking in America. And people used to drink. People used
to be hammered. It's crazy
They
we
did.
became anything.
Huh?
I can't believe we even killed any Indians. We must have been so hammered. Didn't
We must have had a high tolerance, though. You
Yeah.
gain a high tolerance. We were drinking a lot. We were in the 1700s. Each person consumed about 3.5 gallons of alcohol per year.
Woo.
And that's pure ethanol.
Woo.
So if you actually like put in flavoring and all this other stuff and you convert it to actual 80 proof liquor that you would drink, that's closer to 9 gallons of like Jack Daniels a year.
Ah,
Per person.
per person.
Per person.
That is a lot.
That's not even the most. That's just in
that's
the 1700s.
average.
That's average, and that's not even the most that people will drink, which also includes like people who weren't drinking anything.
It also includes. Oh wow!
You know
so
what I
that's
mean?
just the mean.
There's like, that's
Yeah.
the mean.
That's the
And
mean.
what a mean it was.
And
I
I
mean,
feel like-
toddlers were drinking.
That's what I was gonna say. Is I
Yeah.
feel like everybody's probably drinking because they were even giving their babies a little bit of that sweet juice every
A
day.
little bit of the
A
backwash.
little bit of the sip of the bubbly.
Yeah, because when the adults would finish whatever their like rum was, it wasn't mixed and so it would separate kind of.
Yeah.
So they would give the babies like the last 2 sips, which was like mainly sugar, but definitely some alcohol.
Definitely backwash. Don't you guys know? The last of it's always backwash.
Right. But that's, your family.
So you give that's so wild that they would give a baby. Why would they? That's
Well,
like giving.
makes them sleepy.
It makes them sleepy.
You gotta put 'em down.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you got to give your baby a little bit of Jackie D.
Seriously, people would put whiskey on the baby's tongue or something, or rum. I think.
Yeah. But I guess that's. I mean, that was fine.
Yeah,
like,
you
have
go
a
in the
little drunk
crib,
baby.
The baby's just like
Getting
singing
up in the middle of the
karaoke.
night, the baby's crying. You're like, go get the whiskey.
Yeah.
I'll fucking.
He's crying. You're like, he's just drunk.
Yeah.
He'll sleep it off.
He didn't get laid. He's
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah.
He was at the saloon and nothing happened for him tonight.
Mhm. Why do you think babies threw up so much? They were wasted.
Really makes you think about if alcohol corporations had say in everything, we'd still be giving alcohol to our babies.
Right.
If there were no laws in place, alcohol companies, Budweiser would be like, give it to your kids.
It was good, I think, for parents
Because you said the babies.
to rub the whiskey on the lip of the baby. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Have you never heard of that?
I heard of that, but I
You
wonder if
thought it was like an urban legend, a wives' tale?
No, I thought it was like, in the 50s.
You know how those wives are always
telling
talking.
tales.
They're always spreading stories that aren't true.
That's how shitty of a level that women were at in society was instead of just saying the word lie, you could say wive. A
That's a
wife
wives'
said
tale.
it. Oh, well, then it can't be.
Oh, no.
Excuse me. I didn't know those words, that tale came out of the mouth of a wife.
Right. But it is the wives' tales at least are purposed towards helping people. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like apple cider vinegar is like a wives' tale. Yeah, that's
Right.
funny. It's always these
trying to
helpful
help.
tips where it's like,
You know, my lion wife trying to heal your sore throat.
stupid bitch. This chick thinks lemon juice does anything for you. Babe,
Yikes.
lemons are for throwing at the poor people,
Yeah.
not for putting in tea. Come on.
Lemons are the only way to keep immigrants out of your yard. That's a husband's yarn, which is just like kind of a backwards belief.
Yeah, that's true. But that happens to
That
be
might
law.
be true.
Yeah.
That is a law. That is a law.
That the women
Right.
have to obey.
If you hit an Italian with 3 lemons, he is technically deported.
Yeah.
He has to go back.
Look, 3 in a row?
Uh-huh.
You don't deserve to be here.
Oh, it's consecutive.
Come on,
lemons.
we're all hammered here. You're getting hit by me. I'm sloshed.
Yeah. The citizenship test is just a dodgeball game.
Okay, so we're living in the 70s.
We're living in a drinking country,
real drunk,
real drunk,
or
which,
just at least resting buzzed.
Yeah, you're right. Resting daily, like all day buzz.
And like fatigued, right? Like you get tired. Day drinking? You know how tired I get if I day drink?
But have you ever kept drinking though? Because I never have.
No, that's the thing. We're not
take
drinkers.
a break. We're not like alcoholics.
No, yeah.
I wish we did more research.
I wish I had 4 years in my early 20s where I really could have spoke on this.
Right. Yeah, I never really like over the course of days. I've binge eaten over the course of days.
Even
Smoked
what?
maybe. Binged eaten.
Oh, I thought
Binge
man, that came out as one word.
Binged eaten?
I thought you were like, I've been cheating from a couple of days. I was like, wow. I was just gonna nod ahead because I didn't know. You know when somebody says something cool and you're like, me too. I've been cheating all the time.
He's googling BINGEETING.
I pictured a J.
Binge eaten.
Binge eaten apostrophe and apostrophe. Binge eaten. Is that the Arab character in Dragon Ball Z?
That's when you do a bunch of meth and bake French pastries for 2 days.
Binge eaten.
Binge eaten. Oh my God, the output after that binge eat.
Something about that crystal just makes me want to bake a croissant. I binge eated that last night. You know, that's how the pretzel was made.
I've been cheating. I've been cheating.
Smoking that pipe out of spoon. Now I'm whisking up those pastries.
But no, I've never drank over the course of several days. But
even in college, you weren't like a...
No, I mean, I've drank several days in a row, but not like constantly. Not like I take a break and then you sleep or whatever. You get up, you eat, you coffee, you go for a walk. And then
these people sounded like they were dipping their toothbrush in whiskey and brushing.
Right.
Like that's before bed. Instead of a Colgate, you had a little bit of Jackie D's. And just,
right, swish, yeah.
Yeah.
Just kind of gargle it.
Yeah, and just swallow it.
Right. I'm tired. Yeah, but this is like young America, too.
Yeah.
Young America! White America? It could be one of your kids. Drunk America! Oh, shit, Heather looks pissed. Yeah, husbands were drinking. They were beating their wives. We're going to get into that as a big, one of the big goods of Prohibition. There were a lot of bads. But by about 1770, Americans consumed alcohol with every meal, which makes sense. If you're getting taxed for tea, sugar, you're like, this is bullshit. I'm going to the bar. Okay. The American Revolution was being like, we got to organize.
Yeah.
We got to... You want to throw a bunch
You guys want to hang out? And like...
How about this? Tea in the sea. Who's with me? Tea in the sea. Everybody say aye.
Did he say P in the V?
No.
He said T
later.
After T in the
T
C.
in the C, then P in the V.
Here. All right.
Oh, it looks like all we got's are A's. Well, I guess we'll have to put the P in the A, boys. And that's really how Pride started. Let's go. I'm ready. I wonder how many people were booting and rallying during the revolution. Just like, shink, right into a red coat.
Throw up into the wound.
Yeah. People began the day with an eye opener, which I've never heard that.
Let me look. Did you know what it is?
Oh, no.
Let's look
Is
it
that
up.
a specific type of drink?
Yeah, that's what I think it was, right?
No, I think an eye opener is just like what you call drinking upon waking up.
Well, I thought, because a nightcap is
A
just a
nightcap
cocktail.
is just yeah. It's not. I don't think a nightcap's a specific drink. It's
You're right, just a drink before bed.
Yeah, you just have it give a cool name to it.
Is there a name for the middle?
I don't know. A midday mead?
Oh, that's good.
Midday mead?
Yeah, mid-mead.
Well, what would it be like functionally?
What do you mean functionally?
Eye opener, nightcap,
Oh.
like a keeper going.
Yeah, a keeper going's good.
Keeper Sutherland. A buzzkeeper.
A buzzkeeper. There we
Beekeeper.
go.
Little buzzkeeper.
Buzzkeeper.
Yeah, midday buzzkeeper.
Midday buzzkeeper.
We're just drawing out plans of how to become an alcoholic and rationalize
just
it.
making fun. No, I need a buzzkeeper right now.
No, it's just a quick little buzzkeeper.
And you're killing it, so I'm going to need two. You're a buzz killer. How about you and me go out for a couple of buzzkeepers?
A buzz saver?
Jack, you have a problem. I was just trying to maintain the buzz.
To infinity and your mom. Sorry, that's Buzz Lightyear. He is a handful.
Seriously, is she single though?
Heard the husband died. What's the sitch?
Sorry about your dad though.
She like open to it?
She looks at me, right? Also, how were babies? Did they know to not drink during pregnancy back then?
I don't know.
That would have been
Well, some of the beer that they were drinking was less strong than the beer that we drink. There's even a thing that was called small beers, which is basically, when you brew like the same grounds of coffee and you get like kind of a diluted coffee.
Sure.
You're just like saving grounds.
Use the same tea bag again.
So they would do that with like beer that had already kind of been brewed, but just like run the hops through again. And this beer that they would make from that would be like 1 to 3%, which would be called small beers that like you gave to small people.
Come down to small beers.
You must be this tall to drink.
Yeah.
It's like 2 feet.
Yeah.
And in highly populated urban areas like London or some American cities, especially in the 1800s, populations are rising, but public sanitation is not. All waste, poop, pee, dead. Have you ever, I mean, it's kind of a miracle, private plumbing.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever afterwards just looked in the bowl?
No. What do you mean?
Just after you go to the bathroom and you like it all, you flush, and then the water...
Oh, it goes
just
down?
disappears.
Yeah.
That's we take it such for granted.
Yeah.
But like all of that was going into your groundwater, in London, the River Thames. And that's just your drinking source. So a lot of the times beer, which you had to boil to make, would be more sanitary.
Less poopy.
Less poopy.
Then maybe that was their motto. Small beer, less poopy than water.
Even like normal beer. Like they were drinking because it was more healthy than just drinking the water.
That's, you know, I looked this up the other day. I saw it on TikTok, to be honest. You know why all the brownstones in New York have stoops?
Yeah, I saw you wrote this is why there's stoops.
That's why there's stoops in New York, because when all the brownstones were built, there was so much horse poop all over the city that the stoop was built so you lived where there wasn't poop.
Oh, above poop level.
Above poop level.
You gotta live above
and then the servant entrance, you know, that's why all the brownstones have basements.
Yes.
That's the servant entrance.
Those little
so they
haunted
live below
corridors.
poop level.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, you really knew where you stood.
BPL.
Under the poop.
That's like, have you seen Parasite?
No.
All of the, all of Boon Joon Kim's movies are about class, basically.
Yeah.
And there's a great scene where it's like really raining very hard and they're like descending. You see how far down they have to go from the rich home that they work at. And their whole house is flooded, like done. And there's like eruptions coming out of the toilet just because that's how much water pressure there is.
I just saw a TikTok on the way here. In North Korea, there's no homeless people because the government assigns housing. And the higher up, there's also no elevators in apartment buildings.
Oh, man.
And the higher up you live in the building,
the poorer you are. I mean, you got a 19-story walk-up?
Yeah.
That's pretty tough.
It's like you can't even bring your bike up there.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. It's
that's
very
brutal.
Yeah, very brutal. And I guess you don't get to pick.
Right. That sucks.
Mm-hmm. Well, North Korea.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, I canceled my flight as soon as I saw that.
Honey, we are not going here.
Well, think of all the stairs.
I've heard it's beautiful, but I don't abide by that. Beer was healthier in some urban areas than water. It's a source of calories and energy for people working all day. It's not
like
super
Gatorade.
potent. It's like Gatorade. Yeah, exactly. Cholera was a huge problem. Armies would used to drink. As part of their daily rations, soldiers in the U.S. Army had been receiving 4 ounces of whiskey, which is like 3 shots.
A day?
Yes.
Since
1782. George Washington himself said, "The benefits arising from moderate use of strong liquor have been experienced in all armies and are not to be disputed."
They listen more.
I like that he's like preempting someone being like, "Are you shut the hell up?"
I'm George fucking Washington. Takes out his teeth.
Yeah.
What, you want to go?
Beats him with his teeth.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, did you get bitten by George? He's like, no, he just whips those things around like a mace. He ties it to a string. Just kakak.
Yeah, they bite.
Yeah.
Don't even have to wind these babies up.
I would love to see Hamilton, the play, like the musical, if they were all drinking as much as they actually used to. You know what I mean? Everybody's like, I am not throwing away my shot.
Also, the tolerance had to be crazy.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Because it's like some people, I mean, yeah, you probably just didn't feel it, right? If you're taking 3 shots every morning before you fucking stretch for the army.
Or if you're just not marching, you're just drinking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, it warms the belly. It was probably good for morale to be a little.
Oh, definitely. At least you're getting a
lit up.
shot.
Right.
Out of everything.
Yeah, you're going to get shots. You might as well take a
might
few.
go take a shot.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is kind of the miracle elixir here.
Yeah, I mean, people didn't seem to have a huge problem with it.
And yeah, there was a point. It did come to a head, I think.
Here's the turning point.
Yeah.
Once we hit the 1800s, drinking becomes even more pervasive for a number of reasons, but mainly because Midwest corn farmers have all this corn grown domestically that they realize is going to be cheaper to distill into liquid assets than worry about sending it over to Europe on a ship. There's going to be spoilage. They're like, why export food when we could keep drink?
Mm-hmm.
Let's just turn this whole field into corn whiskey, boys.
Wow.
And so there was a huge proliferation of whiskey. By the 1820s, whiskey was 25 cents a gallon, making it the cheapest liquid that wasn't water. So it's cheaper than beer, wine, coffee, tea, milk.
Wow.
It's insane. People are getting wasted. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to think of putting whiskey in their cereal.
Exactly. Yeah,
it's cheaper than milk, babe.
Yeah.
It's good.
Baking.
With Cheerios, it's good.
Baking with whiskey.
Yeah.
Yeah. Honey rum Cheerios.
Yeah.
People are getting wasted. There's a huge industrial toll. Monday became widely understood as unofficial hangover day.
Hilarious.
Like half your factory wouldn't come in because the hangovers were so bad. And even during, this is the craziest part to me, even during work, people would drink. During the workday in many parts of America in the 1800s, the tolling of a town bell at 11 a.m. and 4 p.m. marked grog time, which was a time where you stopped what you were doing at your mill, your factory, your tannery, and you took a drink of whatever you had, cider, beer, whiskey. It's like an Islamic call to prayer.
Yeah. And you know people are, if that reminds me of like in high school, I was eating my lunch in second period. I didn't wait till lunch. If there's an allocated time to do something, people are doing it all day regardless. Because they're like, look, I'm going to be, the bell's coming.
Yeah.
I may as well get ready for it.
Right, yeah. I'm just going to drink for tomorrow's bell.
Yeah.
And then I just won't tomorrow. And then it just keeps
tomorrow
going.
Just keep going.
Right.
No, trust me, guys.
I'm actually 4 weeks ahead of the grog bell.
Yeah.
I'm very
productive in the. Yeah, I wonder if that's how some things got invented that we don't know about. Somebody was just hammered at the tannery, and they put some cow skin on a couch, and they're like, that's how a leather couch got invented. What's this animal skin doing on a couch? It's supposed to be velvet. Pretty cool, right?
Cowskin chairs.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, no, they're gonna love this in New
York. That's how antlers on the walls got invented. What the hell is this?
Throw it up there.
Yeah, come on, it's cool.
Boss actually liked it. Who would have thought?
It means you're a man.
Yeah. So it's crazy that you're like by the time you get to happy hour, you're beyond happy. You're ecstatic by 5 p.m.
Yeah.
You're already buzzed. By 1830, people were drinking an average of 7 gallons of ethanol a year, which is about 20 gallons of 80 proof liquor.
Wow.
That's 2 bottles per person per week.
Wow.
And today we drink about a third as much.
And we're way more. I mean, they weren't hydrated at all back then. They weren't drinking the water because it was infected.
No.
I mean,
Michelle Obama had not told us.
That piss had to be brown.
Yeah. They actually that was the tap.
Yeah.
When it ran out, they just had the drunkest guy piss back into the tap, and they're like, it's close.
It's pretty, and it's sterile.
Yeah. Like, no wonder so many people were dying on construction sites. You know what I mean? Like, you always read about, 11 men died building this bridge. I'm like, how?
Yeah.
How are so many people dying building things?
It's a walking bridge.
And then it's like, were there not enough harnesses?
Yeah.
Were you just pushing your friends, just playing pranks? Tag, you're it. Whoa!
Yeah. Oh, see ya. Yeah, it falls 50 stories under the New York streets.
Yeah,
lands on a horse, kills, explosion.
right. The rats come drink your blood. Rats are immediately wasted. They're like, whoa. They were drunk.
Yeah, everybody
people were drinking during work. You're 10 stories up carrying a bushel of metal rebar. You're like, hey, boss, here's the stuff you asked for. Oh, shit.
That's probably what was actually, because all the construction pictures is like them on a high beam with like a lunch pail. It was probably just a bottle of whiskey.
Yeah,
it wasn't
a
sandwich. You always are like, it's probably your wife making a nice salami sandwich in there.
It's actually a metal sandwich. The picture is just a fake sandwich. It's a hollowed out fake sandwich
drink
filled with whiskey. Yeah. He never takes a bite, but he always seems full.
He always seems to be sipping that sandwich.
Right. So much drinking was happening. And yeah, outside observers of American culture, like people who would come over from France or whatever, they'd be like, Americans drink for any occasion, when they're happy, when they're sad, to celebrate, to mourn.
Yeah.
At noon, at night, by day with a kite. And the main victims of a lot of this widespread drinking, which is happening mainly by men, is families.
Yes.
Wives, women in general, and children.
Yes.
You want to get into that?
I want to get right into it. Fast forward, we are now in the 1870s. America's been drunk for quite a while.
Yep.
Let's just say since America's been conceived, and even in the womb, this thing was drinking a lot of alcohol. We're in the 1870s. The wives...
What time is it again?
The 18, say it with me.
70s. All right.
Specifically 1872. The wives are getting fed up of the husbands coming home drunk every day. They're not living up to be a father. They're not taking care of their kids. When I need him hard, he's soft. We got to put a stop to the alcohol. It's a problem. All of these wives get together. This first was starting in Ohio, and they decided that they were going to protest outside of bars. The men heard of this stupid dumb bitch wives' tale. I'm going to go ahead and... I'm sorry. The men heard of this wife... Let's keep that
Charles,
out.
that's implied.
Yeah, sorry. That's like...
That's a little redundant. Yesterday I was like, yeah, Lucas got his MBA in business. I'm like, no! Business is Masters of Business business is fuck.
Got
You're
it.
too stupid to even
MBA.
understand how dumb I was. Yeah. But yeah, go ahead. So they gathered out. So the Ohio women gathered outside.
They
bars.
gathered outside and they thought they were going to protest. You know, they said they were going to protest, and they
Right.
did this by going out and doing kneeling on their knees.
Hot.
Pretty hot. Kneeling on their knees.
The worst response they don't want.
Yeah.
Hot.
Nice.
Stay down there.
Yeah. Nice improvement, guys. They're like, Jesus fucking Christ.
They love the
Don't-
drinking.
Yeah, don't pay attention to them. I wonder how many men were coming up and be like, nice on your knees like I need you.
Sweet, right outside the bar for convenience.
Nice. It's like a urinal thing. You just
They're
go and
fu-
put it in.
They're singing hymns.
They're singing hymns. They're praying.
How lame is that?
They also, you know,
Fahudore,
I mean,
Fahudore.
they should have
Don't
gotten
come
booed.
home and beat our kids.
Well, they did do something, though.
They did
Apparently,
something.
they caused a little bit of a ruckus.
Oh,
because
yeah?
the men, I don't know how dumb these men were, but it started, it was the bar.
Assume everyone from this point on is drunk.
Everybody's drunk, but the they would twist the morale of the bar owners. They'd be like, look, this is bad. These women are out here. That's my fucking wife. And she's protesting the bar. Everybody is hammered. And eventually some of these bars would shut down. Other bars that didn't like that the women were doing this would call the fire department and have them spray them down with the hose.
Wow.
Can you imagine you just got some women praying outside and you're like, bring out the hose.
I think I see a fire.
They're
Wow,
just getting
that's crazy.
I don't know how high the water pressure was, but due to the quality of the water, some of those women probably swallowed some and got cholera, whatever
Yeah,
it's called.
Cholera Deville.
There we go.
Yeah.
Gruella.
A lot of the women probably get UTIs from that water.
From the water.
Jeez. Could you imagine getting hosed today in like California? You're like, during the droughts, no less?
This is unnecessary.
Right.
I'm this big of an inconvenience? You're willing to waste water on me? One guy brought out a cannon.
A water?
He brought out a cannon.
Like a
And he
Revolutionary
pointed it-
War
yeah,
cannon?
Like a real, this guy had this thing. His dad fought in the war and he got it when he died in the will. He brought out a cannon.
with a wick that's 3 yards
Yeah,
long, just so they
exactly.
can see this.
Yeah, it took it 9 days to blow up. The women were gone and actually ended up killing his horse.
Oh, shit.
He forgot he lit the fuse. Accidental cannonball through the town.
It's like
Wonder
when
how
you
many of
forget
those
you
were
set your
whizzing
alarm. Yeah. You wake, it's the weekend. You wake up at 6 a.m. Oh, shit.
You remember at the last second? Nope. Kills.
Yeah, you just see it cuts to like right in front of your horse. A hole pops out and it's just your face like,
Yeah, and it just continues going through buildings.
yeah.
Somebody gets on it. Whoa, whoa, whoa. They get booted out of town. I live here now. Yeah, I got.
So that's how we moved.
Yeah.
I got cannonballed out.
Thankfully, the cannonball got all of us in one.
Yeah,
Me, my family, and my cat.
Mhm.
It was like a magic carpet ride.
None of us were hurt.
Oh, I forgot to say that when
What's
they
up?
banded together to do the protesting, it was called the Women's Crusade.
That's okay. I
That-
mean, the
I guess this is more important.
the way, yeah, this is the real women's thing. Is see, all these women were. I mean, alcohol was a destructive force when it comes to families, marriages. You know, Friday night was fight night, dad
Yeah.
edition, and
Yeah, the whole family.
You just went up against. It's like featuring your children against the reigning champion.
Every
dad.
single night.
Every night, wasted dad
Yeah.
raining down punches. A good quote about this that I saw in a documentary was drinking started to become an act of masculinity that took away masculinity.
Ooh, that's
Because
nice.
you would drink to show that you're a man and that you could hang with the guys, but then you would be unable to perform the duties of a man. You couldn't provide for your family. You mistreated your wife. You know, marital rape was prevalent during this time. You'd neglect or beat your kids.
Yeah.
So
But you were a man because you drank all the beer. And
Right.
that's all that matters.
right, but you couldn't perform any of the tasks.
That's like
that-
when you're high and you're like, I think I'm going to get everything done today and be productive, and then you just end up high.
That's right.
But you're like, but I'm high.
Yeah, you're like, this is what a man does.
Yeah, he gets high and he loses.
Yeah. So the a group of women formed just in like small gatherings at first, and then they kind of all band together under the Women's Christian Temperance Union from the 70s to the 90s, the WCTU, group of introverted women who claim you don't need to drink to have fun. They weren't great at parties, and they said, let's make a little book club. Okay?
I kind of just like to chill.
No, but they were pretty organized. They were headed up by Francis Willard. They did achieve some stuff. They got education in school, in almost every school in the
Well, the
nation about
education-
drinking.
Yeah,
like
but it was-
anti-drinking campaigns.
Yeah, but it was like super propaganda drinking. It was like the whole.
Sure, but it was probably to the kid. It probably. Go ahead.
It was like some of them was like if you if you had alcohol, you were going to spontaneously combust.
No,
It was stuff like if you have
No, I
sex
didn't know
before
that.
marriage, you're going to hell.
Right.
But in like a more
If
cartoonish
you
way.
smoke weed, you're allergic to weed. Like your dad told
you're
you.
gonna die. But it was
Yeah.
like if you drink, you're gonna explode, and you don't want to be exploded, right, kids? You want to live a full life. Then don't drink like Dad, who hasn't exploded yet. But when he does, it's gonna be huge.
Yeah, we're gonna move. 'cause
Yeah.
there will be no house to go back
So
to.
I mean, they did. Yeah, they got some stuff. Also, this is one thing that they did they set up homes for the drunk women because women be drinking.
Women
as
be
we know
drinking.
this. Women also be drinking.
Yep.
They get into the dad's stash during the day. Let's just imagine the food's probably not tasty.
Absolutely.
I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah,
come on.
Yeah, housewives, pills.
Drunk around the
I mean,
house.
yeah, you got to be. Yeah, that sounds.
Yeah, that sounds great.
like what I do.
Yeah, and it's fun. It's fun to be.
good
Yeah, and I like it.
and it's nice
And it's not worth stopping because I
No.
don't have a problem.
No, I don't. It helps me.
But one thing that kind of took me by surprise was they installed drinking fountains in public parks. I thought those were there for the kids, but it's for the drunks. So you can get hydrated.
Really?
Yeah.
The WCTU is responsible
Set
for
up drinking fountains in public parks.
Okay, well, let's ask the burning question. Were they also behind the set of drinking fountains for the whites and the colores?
I mean,
how many drinking fountain laws did these women pass? Because one's good, two might be bad.
What if I like to think it was a hopeful way they did it. Let's not make it a negative thing. Maybe they were making the drinking fountains, and then one of the women in the Women's Christian Good People Temperance Council said, "What if a black guy wants to drink?" And they go, "We'll build him one too."
Yes.
Thank you.
Right.
Right. Mary, are you mixed, by the way? You can't be. Gotta be full.
Let me make a third one for Mary.
Christian.
So I did not know that they made water fountains.
They put water fountains in public parks.
So they didn't invent water fountains.
No, I don't think. That would be if they
These
all were
women
just women
were
who
all
didn't
plumbers.
get educated. Yeah, but we know how to do.
Yeah.
I know one thing: how to make a goddamn good casserole so delicious that my husband doesn't beat me when he's drunk.
That's one.
And how to integrate a plumbing system.
Yeah, I know an S-bend like the back of my hand. Okay, well, I didn't know about all the propaganda, but they at least tried. They got some educational campaigns.
No, it's better to go propaganda. The way that the state.
I mean, people did. Go ahead.
How drunk men were.
Right.
They would prefer. You have to go. You have to, extreme. What is it? Drastic.
Desperate times call for
Desperate
drastic measures. Right? That's closer than what you were gonna say. Desperate time.
Whoa. This guy's on the defense.
I'm on fire.
He's obviously intimidated by me.
I'm drunk. Desperate times calls for desperate measures, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's just
that's a desperate measure. You have to be like, look, if you drink, your balls are going to fall
I'll tell you
off.
what a desperate measure is. Old lady Carrie Nation.
Carrie Nation is a fun lady to talk about. During all of the women organizing, there was a very old lady who I forgot.
How old?
I couldn't
making her
find her
sound like
age.
90.
She did, and I hope that she
An ageless witch.
Let me give Carrie Nation.
The fact her name's Carrie Nation's confused me so much.
I know. Okay, so she was 64 years old. I mean, look at this lady. She looks like a nun that quit the nunnery and kept the clothes.
Wow.
Look, there's a picture of her holding an axe.
Yeah.
What a badass. Wow.
She's so old in that one picture. She almost transcends race. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying. Is she's very old, but I'm right by saying very old. Look how
she's very old up here. It looks like she's been aged by the bottle as well.
Yeah,
but that's not her MO.
She would, she must have. The bottle must have betrayed her.
She
at
was
some
putting
point.
the Christian in Christian temperance.
Yes.
This lady thought she was on God's mission.
Yep, she was in Kansas. She would take an axe and run into bars and saloons and just start hacking away at everything. And everybody was so drunk, confused, they ran. They would flee.
Yeah.
And she would tell these women that were in like the women's Christian temperance movement.
What are they going to stay? No, that's Carrie.
I think it'd be kind of fun. Well, yeah, she has an axe. She probably tried swinging.
Is she going to hit people? Did she ever hit people?
I never read that she killed anybody, but I bet she didn't want to kill people, but I bet she would taunt.
Little taunt.
I'll do it.
A little warning swing.
Yeah. I would, I hope she was like a ninja. Like, I hope she was just like an old, agile lady.
I picture, like Yoda.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Because people had to have like tried to tackle her, right?
She's doing backflips around the bar.
Yeah.
Fching, fching.
The axe sounds like a lightsaber.
She's making the noises.
Yeah.
Carrie!
You made her sound deaf in that.
No, I was doing the lightsaber sound effect, just like she would have. Yeah, dude, she was crazy. She literally, they're like, "What are you doing?" She's like, "God told me."
Yeah.
I love that as the excuse too. If you don't want to plead insanity, you can be like, "No, I mean God."
I'm on a
I had
mission.
to.
Yeah, I'm not in control of myself.
Right.
You guys remember Moses?
Yeah,
He told me.
he told me.
Yeah, maybe that's why they fled. They were like, "Look, God did it. God sent her on a mission." I mean, she was also dressed like a
Did
nun
she
when
get
she
charged
was.
for anything?
No, she was just. I forgot what happened to her.
Saving the neighborhood.
She would tell women, "You don't know what it's like." I think she was called like a smasher, like Carrie Nation and the Smashers, and she told women.
Was she in a punk band?
Yeah, she could be in a punk
she
nun
could.
band.
Nun.
Punk? I would listen to that genre.
In Cleveland, I saw a band called Nun Fist.
That's cool.
They're pretty good.
And they look like
A
nuns.
man came out basically dressed in nun drag.
That's a cool.
demon nun drag.
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
like
right?
pale face. It was cool. It was
Yeah.
fun, and they were good. I got some video. I can put it on the Patreon actually.
Nice.
I may have some of the demon woman
Yeah.
in it, but
Let's
I'll
sell their
cut
work.
her out.
But she would tell women famously, "It's like you don't know what it's like to smash, smash, smash."
Yeah, she's
So that's fun.
she's fully insane.
So
She's a crazy person.
yes.
Okay.
I don't know. I think she was just at wit's end.
Yeah, I mean
I
that's a
think she- I was-
synonym for crazy.
I'm for her. I'm pro Carrie Nation. I think it's a good thing.
I'm not for or against. I just think she's kind of a nut.
That's fine.
Um,
So now we're getting to the part where
What?
Wayne is about to come in here. So the women's movement is going to recede. I think the Women's Christian Temperance Union was around until the 1890s, but all good things must come to an end. Sadly,
Yeah,
Carrie
that's why it
Nation,
stopped.
yep, had to go home because while these women were away on tour, just pillaging saloons, while they were kneeling and praying,
They
tour
were
of
on the road.
1891 kneeling and praying tour. Ooh, what would we call that tour? The Smashers tour?
Yeah, probably.
Smashers tour?
Smash your smack back.
These men were left to be at home with their own devices. They don't have any knowledge. They don't know what's going on. They're calling up their wives like, "Babe, I ran out of cats to cook. What do I eat? What's going on here?" Also, one of the kids is still in the bathtub. It's been a few days. He's at the bottom. I don't know what that means. Is he a swimmer?
I think he's sleeping. He hasn't cried in days.
I told him to eat. I threw him the toaster. I don't know what the hell. Babe, I hope you're getting this letter. What?
It's like a 30-pound wrecking ball. Those things, I mean, they only get more sleek as time goes on.
Yeah, but they could still only toast the tiniest piece of bread.
Right, yeah, that you're toasting a cheese
Like
it
a
every time.
old supercomputer.
You have to wind it up like you're starting an airplane.
You have to keep going to get it hotter.
Yeah.
I can never toast it all the way through. I'm not strong enough yet. My dad can really burn a piece of bread. Kids are at school. Oh yeah?
Dude, he singed the whole. It's black when it
I
comes
heard
out.
your dad's toast is chewy. Because you can't.
Your dad's toast is still bread.
Yeah. Oh.
Oh, breadwinner. Mine's a toast maker.
Man, I bring the toast home.
Toastmaster.
I burn up the toast. Toastmaster. There we go.
Yeah, Toastmaster.
So the women have no choice but to go home and save their kids from their fathers.
Yeah.
And they have to retreat.
It's never good when dad's making lunch like for a long time.
Oh, it's terrible. You go from having a
doesn't know
nice
what to
sandwich with your favorite cheese to a banana and a quarter in a sack.
It's really the difference between like a full timer and like a temp employee.
who
that's
doesn't?
like your
Who's like on
dad.
his? Who's also like it's his last day. He's
Yeah.
like, I don't.
He's like, no, I'm gonna be here a week.
Yeah.
Your mom's just, I don't know, going
I don't
through chemo or whatever. I'm not sure.
I have no idea
I
what
don't
they're
pry.
doing. Your mom said she had chemo.
I don't pry.
Yeah, I can't read, so I know
You
she
know,
wrote me a letter.
Boundaries.
Yeah,
They're
I
important.
let her free. If she loves me, she'll come back.
Right.
Anyway, I'm fucking her sister.
Yeah, she's has to drive home herself.
She can't drive. I'll tell you that. Didn't let her take the horse.
So the WCTU, they make some progress, but they don't actually enact any laws, you know, and
They achieve.
they have some nice meetings, some nice chats, but if you want to get stuff done,
You gotta leave
need
it.
some men.
Look, that's not our opinion. Those are the cold hard facts.
That's just what happens. It is true. I don't know if you guys have realized by now, but we're starting to realize that women, not very powerful.
No,
Not a lot of power.
they can
Throughout
get on
history.
their knees and pray,
Right.
but
That's the height of their protest, except for an axe swinging. Yeah, I like that she had some chutzpah, Carrie. Carrie had some chutzpah to swing that axe. But
yeah.
in terms of actual legislation and
And progress.
progress and, you know, real stuff, you got to turn to the Anti-Saloon League,
The League.
which was led by this guy, famous lobbyist, Wayne Wheeler.
who may have been, I'm going to go ahead and say, I think he's the reason Prohibition ever became a law or an amendment.
Yeah. Time Person of the Year.
This guy, oh yeah, he looks like he'd be on the cover of it. He looks like a
right. It's like not really good that he is impactful.
Little ominous, but you're like
ominous, but he captures the times.
He tricked the nation.
Yeah,
he got everybody. So Wayne Wheeler, we're going to learn about. He basically pushed Prohibition into the country, and he did it well. He did it with, first of all, this guy's against alcohol because what was it? He blamed a child.
Oh my God! His origin story is so funny.
So funny.
He apparently, you want to say it? You want to tell it?
Yeah, he has this story where that if it's his, well, I mean, hold on.
I can do it if you want.
Yeah, you hit.
He has a story, and this is like his lobbyist spiel. Like, so Wayne Wheeler is a very effective lobbyist who can get votes for politicians and really just control a political system.
Pressure politics.
Yeah,
he
really
knows
knows
a lot of pressure.
He knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
Apparently, though, if his lobbying tactics weren't working to get someone on his side, he would wheel out this story about when he was a kid. There was this drunk farmhand on his family's, like a drunk hired help with a pitchfork, just, swaggering around his farm or whatever. And he just slips and like stabs Wayne in the leg, which convinces him of the evils of alcohol.
Mm-hmm. Sure, it was the leg, buddy? Sounds like he got molested. Let's say that. Why don't you go ahead and say that? That's a lie if I ever heard one. Also, Wayne, come on, just say what happened, dude.
I don't even know if he grew up on a farm. I'm gonna be honest. As I was saying farm, I'm like, I don't think he did.
I think he probably grew up in the 5 Points, New York, and had a tough time.
And got a 6 point.
Shoved up his
in his lower Manhattan,
Lower East Side.
Yeah. That was his Batman story. That's his Bruce Wayne Wheeler origin story. Is that he got wounded somehow by a drunk handyman.
Sure,
which could so funny.
I don't believe
you're
it
like
for
no one
second,
would go so
Wayne.
Far and commit their life if it was only a pitchfork stabbing. It had to be worse.
Yeah, that's just an accident.
He fucked my mom.
Yeah, I mean. You would forgive somebody for a pitchfork stab in the leg any day.
Kind of sounds like a bitch if that is the case.
And
just let it go, buddy. It's just a pitchfork.
Wayne, I'm sorry, but I'm sensing a little bit of SDE. Small dick energy, Wayne.
Yeah, he does have
He
a lot
blames
of SDE.
He has permanent whiskey dick. This is why. I had the first time I drank, I couldn't get it up, and now it's stuck like that.
It's actually communicable. The guy that stabbed me with a pitchfork, he had whiskey dick, and now I have it for life.
It's like when a vampire bites you.
Yeah.
By the way, Pitchfork, I would see that band live anywhere they toured.
Yeah, they're sold out.
Anywhere.
Instantly.
Pitchfork's coming to town? We do need to start that band. That's the best band name.
Definitely ska.
Yeah. I want to tell you about Wayne. A lot of brass.
Yeah,
nice.
Tell me about Wayne.
I just want to tell you about his tactics a little bit. So he would go and he would just kind of play all. He did what kind of Trump did. He would just go and placate and pander to any group.
Win.
Yeah,
he did. Actually, he did win.
He would say anything the group wanted to hear. Like he would take, he would get an immigrant in front of and go in front of a group of immigrants and be like, "Hey, this is our brother. This man came on the boat with you. Don't you guys want to succeed in America?" And they're like, "Yeah." And they're like, "Well, look, alcohol is going to ruin your succeeding in America."
Right.
And then
he would hold you back.
And then he would go to the, let's just say another group like the Republicans and just be like, "Hey, these immigrants are coming over. You guys hate immigrants, right?" And they're like, "Yeah." And they're like,
"Yeah." Well, he had a good thing going with the fact that alcohol was really disrupting a lot of like family life.
Yes.
If people were drunk, then you weren't employable. So it was ruining like immigrant communities in terms of like unemployment. Mm-hmm. So he had a lot of arguments that he leveraged for each of these different groups.
But some of those
including the KKK.
Yeah. He would go to the KKK, be like, "You guys hate blacks, right? Guess what alcohol does?
Galvanizes them." Right? Makes them bigger, better, blacker.
Yeah. Yeah, so he would do that. But then eventually, which
Didn't he use the KKK as his like enforcement for like...
Oh, I didn't read that.
Yeah, he would get them on his side.
Okay.
Right, but he's a lobbyist. He's a politician, so he can't be connected with law-breaking activities like property destruction. So he would employ the KKK. This is crazy, to like go and harass people at illegal bars.
Even if wow.
Yeah. And the KKK were already a violent organization.
Yeah.
And if they could, use that as an excuse to like get a black patron or something, then they would do that.
Oh,
but
my
it's
goodness.
fucked. Yeah, I know. Yeah, show me
evil,
pure.
show me
who you walk with. I'll show you who you are.
Wow. Yeah.
And Wayne Wheeler was
I'm gonna say it, he wasn't a good guy.
not a great guy.
Wayne,
Very persistent. You're right. Big small dick energy. A guy who's, why are you working so hard?
Yeah, what is exactly?
They called him
what
a
do you,
locomotive in trousers, which he certainly didn't have in his
No,
trousers.
definitely not.
No,
This guy
little
had
caboose.
a caboose at best.
A caboose at best.
Yeah. So then he would, but then
At best. One of those little train cars where it's two guys and you're just hauling down a lever.
Which, where are those guys going?
I don't know.
I think they're just skipping town with it. I want to skip town, but I don't
skipper.
have anybody who wants to skip it with me.
I'm gonna get caught.
I can't do it by myself.
They pull up to you on a horse. All right, sir, can you please stop pumping?
Yeah.
I'm getting away. You're going 5 miles an hour.
Triceps are burning.
He's walking next to you, sir. Can you please get off?
You know the tracks don't go anywhere. You're on the wrong rail. This is just for the mail to be from the post office to the neighborhood.
Ends a block up. I'll just walk you there.
I'll see you there. Do you want any water or grog? You need some electrolytes,
ding,
dude.
Ding, ding, ding. They both take a break. He arrests him. Aha, gotcha.
Gotcha, dude. So, what do you think? I was on your side?
That's why I always do patrol at 4 p.m. It's
Cannonball comes through, kills them both. Random cannonball. But Wayne, so he would get all this. He would get all the support from basically all the communities, including the KKK, which you got to cover all your bases. And now he would start.
Is that our motto?
Yeah. But he would get everybody's support, and then he would have a vote influence.
Yeah.
So now people in politics, whether it's the city council or all the way up, would be afraid to admit that they were in favor of alcohol because now the tides are turning. So the politicians would either be replaced with people that were on Wayne Wheeler's within his control,
right?
Or if they weren't within his control, they would be like, "Look, the popular opinion is like, I don't drink alcohol," and Wayne would be like, "That's right." So he's now changing American politics, not just him, but the whole.
The ASL, but he's there. He's spearheading all of
this.
Yes,
very impressive.
He's biking, fellow cyclist, from town to town, which I do. He's cycling everywhere, like handing out letters like drinking's bad.
Very driven.
Yeah.
Very driven.
And smart. He's a lawyer, so he knows how to write laws.
And then he
knows how to get shit passed. He knows how to convince people to do things.
He's also convincing a bunch of drunk townspeople to do things. Like, it can't be that hard.
Well, he's also talking to. He has cases to make. He's talking to battered women. He's talking to mothers of deadbeat immigrant sons.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. He's talking to all these groups who could benefit from prohibition. So he's kind of. But the genius of Wayne Wheeler is that he didn't have to control the majority of votes. He played a game of minorities, which is where you just you need to get certain people to outvote just barely another politician, like an incumbent politician, to replace a wet guy with a dry guy.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you have enough dry guys in there, then it doesn't really matter what the popular vote is because you have enough votes in Congress to pass shit, which is ultimately how he achieved the 18th Amendment. But this guy was like, the one time they wanted an Ohio governor out just because he was tweaking parts of a bill that made town-by-town prohibition legal in Ohio. So the bill that was proposed was, we're going to make local prohibition town by town. You know what I mean? Oberlin can be sober, but Columbus can be wet if you want. That was the bill. This guy tweaked it to make it enforceable, just like workable, and they staged 300 anti-governor rallies and ended his political career.
Wow, he was quick to cancel.
He's like, there's a period here, and Wayne's like, fuck this guy.
Yeah. This guy's the devil and he's drunk right now.
That's right.
He's like, let's kill him.
Yeah.
Let's get him the hell out of here. Wayne, honestly, most impressive person I've read about recently.
Very effective.
Very effective.
We can probably go to the breakout of World War I.
Yeah, so then now we're in 1917. World War I breaks out, which is just perfect for Wayne.
Yeah.
This is going to fall right into his lap. Now everything in the country is going to turn towards prohibition because this is against Germany. And a lot of the brewers and the big beer manufacturers are German. What? Big beer, baby. Why'd you laugh?
No, it's true. It's just silly. I just think it's silly.
Yeah, so, I mean, this is when now American propaganda is coming into the thing where
it's like let's fight them on the food front.
Yeah.
The food and beverage front.
More beer. That is so
we'll
funny.
We'll fight them in sea and air and at the grocery store.
They renamed things. I think this was the first instance of being like, we grew up with, when 9/11 happened, they started calling them freedom fries.
Right.
Which I still
when
call
When 9/11 happened.
I think that was the first instance that I remember.
That was like World War II.
Oh, really? I guess I think back, the first time I ever heard freedom fries was 9/11. And, right?
No, I would think like you'd call hummus like freedom spread.
Freedoms,
So
they're rebranding. I mean, sauerkraut was called Liberty Cabbage, and now America starts to boycott German everything.
Everything. There was a guy in Wisconsin. This guy John Strange, Dr. Strange.
These last names are great back then.
It's insane.
When you could just pick a word that's cool and not have to have like a stupid made up name.
I love the names of the gangs, which we'll get into.
Yeah.
Like the Brooklyn Rippers.
Yeah,
you know,
very cool.
You know, the fast gerbils and the rackets. Whatever. This guy John Strange summed it up. We have German enemies across the water. We have German enemies in this country too. And the worst of all our German enemies, the most treacherous, the most menacing, are Pabst, Schlitz, Blotz, and Miller.
Also, I'm coming up with my own beer, Strange Brewing Company. Go ahead.
Strange IPA.
I'm an ally.
Yeah.
Strange IPA. That's good.
That's not bad. So the 18th Amendment was proposed by Congress in 1917, at which point the war is 3 years in. What's up?
No, you're right.
What?
America is inching more and more towards the idea that prohibition is needed. Most of the country is pro-abition. Yeah.
They're anti-inhibition.
Welcome to the podcast.
They're prohibition.
They're prohibition.
Yeah.
Feel the... What's that song? You know
Feel the rain on your skin?
Yeah, the
No
release your prohibitions. Drink water only. Just ask if they have some lemon tea is very good as well. You won't go to hell if you don't drink alcohol today. All right. Anyway,
Nice.
America hates Germany. America is officially being more pro-hib compared to anti-hib.
Yeah.
The big challenge in America and for Wayne Wheeler, if they really want to get prohibition solidified, there is a big money gap for Wayne to solve. America's making the government's making 40% of its income based off of alcohol sales. And then Wayne does have a drawing board that he's going to go ahead and go back to. Because this guy, along with the Anti-Saloon League, there's probably this might be a little bit of I bet there's an overshadowed person who helped this law come into play that we're going to have to find out.
We're digging too deep into the shadows.
Okay, let's scratch all that. Wayne goes back to the drawing board with the Anti-Saloon League. He proposes to the government, hey, we just came up. You up? Hey, government, you up?
I'm up. What's up?
Guess what?
Yeah?
We just came up with the perfect way to make sure this becomes a dry country.
Don't send me your balls again.
No, dude. First of all, you said you liked it.
I did, just not again. I'm full up on your balls. How are we going to make this a dry country?
Well, you ever heard of, the thing we escaped from the motherland from and hate a lot?
Taxes?
Yeah. So what if you and me, decide to tax the public, not us, the public 40%, just make up for the gap? And they're like, that's a great idea, Wayne. You're the best person who's ever lived. Come over right now and send me another pic of your balls.
They didn't tax them 40%, though.
I don't think it was 40%. I think it was enough to kind of bridge the gap.
Right.
With, like, look, we can bridge this gap and you'll be fine, and it's going to be a dry country.
Yeah,
and
they needed enough revenue to make up for the revenue loss from Prohibition, giving you no alcohol tax revenue anymore.
So
I'm just saying, thinking with the income tax, this is 100 years past becoming a new country because you hated taxes.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're like, no, we're going to not. So two things. No more drinking.
Yeah.
And the money you make, we take some now.
Because that's better now.
Welcome to America.
Also, no beer.
Yeah. You can't even drink your sorrows away about the income tax. What was the 17th Amendment? Because the 16th is income tax can be apportioned on different states. The 17th is allow voters to cast direct votes for U.S. senators. I wonder if that helped Wayne as well. But
I'd say so.
Probably, yeah. But so the income tax is the 16th Amendment. Now you can cast votes for individual senators, and then the 18th Amendment is prohibition. So they've solved the money problem. Oh, and the war helps.
Yes, huge.
Big. During the war, they reallocated a lot of the crops that were going to alcohol. Remember, it was like easy to store and transport and sell distilled corn whiskey. Now that all had to go to the troops as food, which Washington would have hated.
Oh, yeah.
What are you doing?
He's like,
ruining. This rum's not done.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
I ordered a cake and I got batter in the mail?
Well, I got to make this myself? They have stills on the battlefield. He's like, these soldiers need to be a little lit up.
Yeah.
They're about to be.
Yeah.
They're going to die.
Yeah.
The rats are going to eat. The rats are eating my toast as I eat this letter. Give them their corn and whiskey form.
That's funny.
Okay? But because World War I, it was the worst conflict that's ever been. It was old tactics.
Trench warfare.
It was old tactics, so like mass soldiers, but new horrifying weapons.
Yeah.
So like mowing people down. Fucked up. like gaining no ground. So, yeah, Woodrow Wilson's like, give them corn. Washington's like, give them whiskey. The Thebans are like, these soldiers need cum. That's how you keep a man's spirits up.
Who said that?
The sacred band of Thebes. The Thebans. If you're a true Overshadowed listener, you got that joke.
That was nice.
Thanks.
Welcome. You're going to get a lot of callbacks from other
If you're truly
reps.
autistic,
Yeah, you can't
connected those dots because it's on our Patreon. Check out the Pride episode if you want to get that joke and come back and tell us
Also,
what
we
you
say
thought.
truly autistic with no offense intended, but we got a comment on a YouTube video that was probably from somebody on that side of town.
He lives on the other side of the tracks.
What was the comment?
It was, I want you guys to fart so much that it smells really, really bad.
Yeah, I want somebody to cut the cheese so hard that it smells really, really bad. I have it tattooed on my back.
Right.
But,
and for engagement, I loved the comment and replied, thank you for your support.
Yeah, that's great.
Please check out our Patreon.
Oh, also, this, I don't know if we need to put this in the episode, but the breweries did try to fight back with propaganda of their own, the German beer companies.
Oh,
they were making posters that were saying, basically they were saying, got milk. They were saying, like,
Got beer?
Beer's healthy. It's a nutrition, like it's a protein shake. And then they had a little picture in the corner of a drawing of a dad giving beer to its baby, being like, you can also feed it to your baby. Babies.
It's baby food.
These babies are going to start shaking.
Babies.
Baby, you can't just stop giving your baby bourbon. It's going to have the shakes.
No.
A sober baby is a baby nobody wants.
It's the BBB, the Better Bourbon Baby.
Bureau for Bourbon Babies.
Bureau for Better Bourbon Babies.
Okay, so now Wayne Wheeler gets his way. He's got the tax thing passed. He's got this whole thing. Everybody's in the wheel. And the 18th Amendment is passed. The 18th Amendment to the United States Constitution prohibited the production, sale, and transport of intoxicated liquors. But it did not define intoxicated liquors.
Intoxicating, right?
Intoxicating liquor, yeah. Intoxicating.
These liquors were drunk.
These liquors were hammered.
You gotta have sober liquors.
People were fine. The public was fine with this because they're like, sure, what's an intoxicating liquor? And then Wayne, whatever.
I'm dumb.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Whatever, dude.
Who's reading these things?
These liquors are intoxicated.
Amendments.
I'm an intoxicated male.
Yeah.
So everybody's like, sure, whatever the fuck. I'm still gonna drink my bourbon because bourbon's a nutritional shake that I get from the German beer companies.
From the YMCA.
It doesn't intoxicate me at all. It actually helps with my bone density and hair on my chest.
Okay.
It's the best thing I can drink.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so Wayne is like...
Wayne gets his way.
Wayne gets his way, and he goes, oh, public, I'm going to pass another, an act that clarifies what intoxicating liquor is. Him, the Anti-Saloon League, get together, pass the Volstead Act, which defines intoxicating beverages as liquor, beer, and wine. Also, it acts to regulate the manufacture, production, use, and sale of high-proof spirits. It ensures ample supply of alcohol and to promote it in its scientific research and development of fuel and other lawful industries. So it's basically being like, look, alcohol is only used for science, baby. But the problem with the Volstead Act is there was a lot of loopholes baked into everything, and they're very, very funny. I don't know why this was... Before we get into loopholes, you know what they are, right?
Yeah. What a loophole is?
I don't know. No, like these specific ones. I think
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know why they would be in the Volstead Act if it was drafted by Wayne Wheeler. Because he was so anti-alcohol.
Got a conspiracy brewing here, folks.
Why would there be loopholes in it? If he drafted this bill...
Well, I mean, a loophole is something that's not intended to be exploited. You know what I mean? It's not like they're putting in little cheat codes for the wets to come in and just legally brew moonshine by calling it medicine.
I guess, but I just feel like
that's what happens.
He was so smart.
Yeah, but I think, you need no, I disagree. I don't think he put loopholes in there. You need alcohol for scientific research, chemistry, and medicine, right? And so this one guy, George Remus, who I love.
Yeah. Wait, let's do the... Okay, go ahead.
Do you want to do...
I want to do the loopholes first. Because George Remus is after the...
Fair enough.
Okay.
So...
Let's just say that...
People would... sacramental wines were permitted.
Sure.
So people were brewing the blood of Christ. Or not brewing, but how do you make wine? Fermenting.
Yeah.
The blood... But they were making like port blood of Christ. Sherry, Jesus' blood.
Jesus IPA.
Right. Cabernet Sauvignon, the blood of Jesus.
Sauvignon Christ.
Sauvignon Christ. Yeah, you could buy alcohol from like Rite Aid, as like doctors would prescribe medicine that was just alcohol.
Yeah, they'd just be like, Doc, I got a headache. And he's like, you know what's going to cure that?
Yeah.
A bottle of bourbon.
Some Jim Beam pan.
Yeah.
you're going to need some well drinkian.
Yeah, well drinkian.
Rabbis were popping up because evidently rabbis could have liquor for why?
Rabbis could have liquor for religious purposes. I don't know why the rabbis.
They're not drinking the blood of Christ.
No, but
he's just a carpenter to them.
But the funny thing is, a lot of people would convert to Judaism and then become a rabbi so they could get access to alcohol and then sell it.
Right.
Which, to who will learn about, to George Remus's, this guy really was the smartest one of them all.
Oh, yeah.
Like, people were converted.
Can we just jump to him real quick? Do you not want to? Why do you not want to?
Okay, let's get to what he did. Okay, let's do you could get alcohol for medicinal purposes, religious purposes,
right.
And then there's just people doing it illegally, like moonshine, having illegal stills and fermenting and brewing their own alcohol
just going out in the woods, just cooking.
But you could also get alcohol,
breaking booze.
The alcohol that you had before Prohibition went into place was not counted as illegal.
True.
So a lot of these people were finding ways to go and collect that alcohol and be like, look, this was before Prohibition, and then they would sell it off illegally.
And make
one
money
bar
from that. One social club, I think, in New York had enough liquor to last the whole 14 years Prohibition was in effect.
Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing.
They never had to like illegally buy anything.
Yeah. So a lot of other people that would convert to moonshining and the illegal business of selling and transporting alcohol, which we'll get into, is the mobsters really took over that pretty quickly. They got their fucking guns sunk into moonshining and speakeasies and things like that. But a lot of policemen and lawyers who would see criminals get arrested and go to court and easily make the bail money because they were so rich were like, fuck this, I work for the city. I'm a policeman. I get no respect.
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and just become...
I'll become Rodney Dangerfield, famous stand-up comedian with no respect.
They're like, I'll just be a criminal and make way more money because I know how to get around the system now.
Yeah.
And George Remus, take it away, was the best example of this man.
Oh,
or this type of person.
George Remus was a lawyer, right?
He was a lawyer, and he kept defending people who were like rich criminals. And he was like, fuck this, I'm defending people that are richer.
How are you paying me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're an idiot.
Right. I thought you were like a stupid criminal who got caught, but you're like a millionaire?
It's like now when your friends that were idiots they're like, dude, I own a dispensary. And you're like, what? And you're like, yeah, I own a yacht now. And you're like,
It's on my yacht.
Yeah.
Which would have been a loophole. You could have like offshore, like booze cruises. Also,
there was a place to the East Coast, just outside America's maritime laws that were just shit.
I love how you say maritime.
Maritime. It's the first time I ever said it. What do you say, maritime?
I thought you said. I feel like I've heard you say maritime.
I'm a little high. I'm a little merry right now.
You're a little merry. I could tell.
It's called Rum Row.
Yeah, anyway. I've been calling. We've all thought Charles was a merry for quite a long time. He had all this liquor pre-Prohibition, but he couldn't sell it. So this guy exploited the medicinal use provision for liquor by basically creating a shell company that was like a medical supply company that wasn't real. He would transport goods, alcohol, medicinal in heavy quotes, alcohol, to cities, and then he would pay people to rob the trucks, take the alcohol, and then sell it illegally as like consumable alcohol.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, George Remus, smart guy, lawyer, all that stuff that you just covered. But eventually, he becomes a millionaire. He gets a mansion. He living like Scarface, La Vida Loca. He's got a wife. Hopefully, she's pretty hot. This guy's
so he's really successul with this.
He's very successful.
Okay.
He gets caught. He gets sentenced to 2 years in jail. He tells his wife, hey, not bad. You're a mega millionaire.
Just
do the time. You're probably just sitting in jail. It's not like you're dropping the soap yet, I can imagine.
Right.
When I picture jail back then,
everyone's probably got the shakes from alcoholism.
Yeah.
There's probably a lot of prison rape going on from all the shakes.
And he tells his wife. Anyway, I'm not gonna feed into that, dude.
No.
While he's in jail, his wife says, "Hey, I'll wait for you." He does not. She finds another guy, cheats on him. Remus gets out of jail, is surprised that the wife would do this. She takes everything out of his house. He's left empty in his big mansion with no furniture in it.
He comes back to an empty home?
I think so. I think they take everything.
Oh, that's brutal.
And then he just cries. One day he's a sad boy.
What is he, me in a threesome?
Yeah. Yeah. He wasn't the
listen to
object.
the Patreon if you
yeah,
want to hear
except the
about
threesome broke up with him and she left. That's
Yeah,
eventually
yeah.
it's just gonna be. That's what's happening.
Damn, first I get soft and then I get left.
Yeah. Sorry, I don't want to predict your future.
And it'll never be right.
And he's walking.
Okay, well, that's pretty dirty then. The wife did him
the
pretty
wife
dirty.
did him dirty. Yeah.
I mean, I thought, well, okay, keep going. Because I had a worse picture of George based on what happens next.
It could have been worse. I mean, who knew?
What happens next?
What happens next is George sees the wife and the new man get into a cab one day
Clearly
off the
stalking
street.
her.
Yes, I don't think he just randomly happens about them.
Uh-huh.
And he jumps into a cab and he goes, "Run that cab off the road." That cab driver's probably hammered, and he's like, "Sure thing."
Yeah, was going to do that anyway.
Yeah, I kill 3 people a day. It'd be way more if I wasn't drinking this bourbon. This shit helps me see better.
So he runs him off. He runs him off the road.
And then the wife gets out of the car in the crash. George Remus goes up to his wife one final time and gives her the kiss of death, shoots her in the back of the head execution
My
style.
God.
Kills her. I mean, you can't blame him for being that angry.
I mean, I'm not going to blame we don't want to criticize, what is it? We don't want to criticize the feeling. We want to criticize the behavior.
Yeah.
Okay, the feeling is valid. The behavior's not.
No, the behavior.
Don't execution style shoot your wife on the side of Nostrand Avenue. You shouldn't do that. Where was he, by the way?
I think this was...
It's in the South?
I don't know.
He's got bourbon. Indiana.
So he gets...
So he
shoots his wife.
What does he do to the other guy?
I don't know about the other wife.
What about
I don't know
his
about
wife?
the guy. Yeah.
What about that guy's wife?
I don't know. I think he maybe escapes because I couldn't find anything about the guy. I heard that he just kills the wife.
Okay.
He's arrested.
Okay.
Now he has to go to court. Luckily,
He shot his wife in broad daylight.
yeah, which people saw, and maybe there was a couple of. I mean, yeah, I don't know. It's wild that
Emphasis on broad.
he goes to court. He represents himself because he's a lawyer.
Because he's a lawman.
Because he's a lawman. He doesn't need anybody.
Just another day.
He does it all.
Uh-huh.
He goes, "Oh, this shit, I used to do this all the time and get people off like me scot-free."
Right.
And he goes, "This is what I'm going to do."
Scotch-free.
That was part of Prohibition. You had to change scotch-free to scot-free.
Oh, what a time.
Led by scot-free.
I'm going to say Merry Christmas. It's like Happy Holidays.
I still say scotch-free in this household. Okay?
It's Scotch tape.
Not Scott tape.
Oh, man, his sales would plummet. The Scotch tape guy. He's like, no, it's just tape.
Yeah, just a pattern.
It's what you're doing in here is wrong.
Yeah.
And it's illegal.
Yeah.
And you beat your wife.
Make a cake for the gays on their wedding day.
So he's defending himself.
He's defending
That's
himself,
kind
but
of
he also
awesome.
has the genius idea of pleading insanity. So
Okay.
he goes and he defends himself.
That's
and
a
gives
thin
very,
line. He
very
gives an eloquent defense.
Yeah. And then he would go back to his desk and go, he would cry. He would sob. He would go, "I'm insane."
And as you'll see here, that's why my client is clearly insane.
Yeah.
And then he takes the stand.
I see dead people. Really, and this is the TV. This guy's putting on a one-man show.
Yeah.
So he wins the jury
He should
over.
be at Fringe.
They go. Yeah, he should go to Edinburgh.
Yeah.
This guy. I mean, he really was a man of many talents.
That is so funny. Him being like, as you'll see, my client has clearly lost his wits.
Anyway,
No further
excuse me.
questions.
Yeah. And then he wins the jury
Does
over.
anybody smell squirrels? What?
This guy's nuts. I bet there were people like outside, be like, "I want to see
Objection,
him."
Your Honor. Relevance. He's like pleading insanity. It's all relevant. It's all relevant here.
Everything.
Okay. Wow. So how did that go?
The jury gives him a verdict of, can you guess it?
I mean,
Not guilty,
Yeah.
baby. The
He's a good
crowd
lawyer.
goes wild. They hoist him up on the fucking shoulders. They crowd surf him to town. They bring him to his wife's grave. They dig her up. He spits on her. They put her back in the ground.
true story.
Not a wives' tale.
True story. Husband's yarn.
This is a husband's yarn. Only serving husband's yarn.
You can also well, that's. I mean, so what's our cumulative view on George Remus? How do we feel about him as a guy? I mean, because he's smart. He's a fun lawyer who shot his wife in the back of the head.
You love him.
I don't love him.
Oh, you don't love it?
No, you like him.
I just think it's a funny story. I just think all around it's
It's
hilarious.
brutal. I
Yeah.
mean, it's insane. And if you go to georgeremus.com, you can still buy George Remus bourbon. I think it's bourbon, right? Yeah, it's bourbon. All right, I'm going to read some of this website. So this is from georgeremus.com. Experience a taste of Prohibition. From the man who killed his wife, the king of bootleggers.
That's what it
That's
says.
on the web. No, it's not. From apothecary to kingpin, George Remus created one of the most intricate, successful bootlegging operations of Prohibition. His legend continues today, despite the ghost of his wife's efforts, with the award-winning family of George Remus bourbons. Explore the collection.
What's
Wife's
the collection?
Head bourbon.
Wife's? No, it's not.
Come on. Some rules are made to be broken, like murder.
Is that no?
Prohibition, for example. In the 1920s, if baseball had a Ruth, Remus had a gun. Always the opportunist, Remus moved to Cincinnati.
Always the opportunist, Remus. I thought you were going to start rapping.
Always the opportunist. Remus moved to Cincinnati and he married a baddie who had a fatty, and then she got naughty. He had a popper in her
Blappy.
Blappy. Yeah, so let's look at his accolades.
Getting away with murder.
Yeah, only doing 0 years. So he just was innocent? He just never had to go to jail?
He just got off scotch-free.
100 years later, and George Remus is still making news. Yeah, I bet he is. From famous prohibitionist to guiltless murderer, you got to try his bourbon. Thank you for listening to Overshadowed. This week we're sponsored by George Remus Bourbon. Use code WIFESLAIN for 20% off. Use code that bitch got what she had coming for 20% off on any selection of bourbon. Do you have any discount codes you'd like to give?
I know. All right, so we got through Prohib.
Use code what would you have done for 25% off any of his collection.
Use code Teamus Remus. For,
Use code Team Remus. I do have one thing about we also could maybe talk about this in the Patreon because this is getting to be a long episode. But the poisoning of alcohol with methanol.
Oh, we forgot about that.
I didn't forget. I skipped to Remus intentionally.
Nice. Okay.
But we should talk about that, right?
We should talk
and I
about
could put
it.
it somewhere regardless.
Hit me.
Okay. So Prohibition had some good intent, but it also had a lot of collateral damage that was kind of co-signed by the government in a pretty fucked up way. They used to so when Prohibition was enacted, and Wayne Wheeler was totally for this, I think behind this, he prohibited people from using like manufacturing alcohol by adding poison to it.
Yes.
So people were like, okay, we can't get our liquor, but we'll just go down to the factory. They use it to make perfume and diapers, and we'll just grab some of that, brew some stuff with that. So he's like, no, let's put methanol into the alcohol, which is also a type of alcohol, but it's poisonous to people. And so it kind of became a battle of chemists, from like the government chemists inputting methanol, and then the bootlegging people trying to separate the methanol from the ethanol. And a lot of people who were brewing stuff from industrial alcohol had no idea that it had been poisoned. And so they were just drinking it. A lot of people got sick. Like hundreds of people died.
Yeah.
Ultimately thousands, like 10,000s at the hand of like the U.S. government.
Wow.
And they were... The whole idea was like, oh, if it's poison, they'll stop drinking it.
But they're not
And they
aware.
eventually did. Well, they eventually did publish headlines of like, government to add poisonous benzene. You
Wow.
know, mercury added to alcohol.
Wow.
Like crazy shit. And so that was in the papers. So people kind of knew, but they didn't, not everybody reads the paper. Also, people didn't stop drinking. Just because there's fentanyl in Coke doesn't mean people aren't doing Coke.
Yeah.
They're just waiting for someone else to do it 10 minutes, and if they're not dead, then do it.
Keep a mouse in your
And
pocket.
that's not what I do, but that's what could be done. Keep a mouse in your pocket, exactly. So, by the way, the government was already tainting industrial alcohol to separate it from non-drinking alcohol, but they really ramped it up in Prohibition to an insane degree. And so people are already dying of methanol poisoning, and they're like, you know what's going to help? More poison.
Yeah.
Let's add poison.
Here at Overshadowed, we'd like to keep your eyes open. A lot of you people that are pro-America really need to
shape up.
Okay.
And this affected, of course, a lot of poor people because the rich people could just ship in expensive rum from, the Caribbean, get some Maliboom boom going on. But, poor people just had to deal with whatever was coming out of the basin.
Yeah, just like, I hope this
at
doesn't
Hank's
kill
house.
me. Yeah.
You know what I mean? They didn't have checks and balances or tests.
It's already got probably traces of lead in it.
Right. And there were more unsafe ways that bootleggers tried to get around using alcohol. Some people even didn't use alcohol. They found another formula to get you a buzz with no alcohol, but it had some neurotoxic chemical compounds in it that attacked the parts of your brain that are damaged by basically like polio. So you'd have like people had like paralytic symptoms and like, dude, he was so wasted last night. We thought he had polio. Dude, he was half of his Body shut down. For real. For real. It was wild. You should have come out, man. You should have come out.
You should have come out, man.
Yeah, so, here on Overshadowed, we want you to keep your eyes open. Anything the government says, don't trust them. Crossing guards, always disobey. They're agents of the government. They do not have your best interest at heart.
Also, you ever seen a baby pigeon? They're spying on you.
Oh,
that's my favorite
right.
conspiracy.
Birds aren't real. They're
birds
cameras.
aren't real.
You ever seen a baby pigeon? Is that the line?
Yeah. You ever seen a baby pigeon? They're all robots by the government. Like, what a shitty robot the government made.
Yeah, they didn't think to make baby versions,
Yeah.
to tie up the loose ends.
Also, I've killed a lot of spies in 7th grade with my pellet gun. At that rate.
Yeah, so that's basically, it is wild that the government sanctioned deaths because of a moral crusade. So that's
I wonder if they
bad.
came to Wayne and he was like, do it.
Yeah, that's the thing is like Wayne was really had a one-track mind with getting all this passed, but like wasn't really thinking about the overall impact.
I think maybe it was a eugenics movement, dude. You just want everybody to be alive. That only people that didn't drink were going to be the race.
Oh, well, yeah, that was that was how they rationalized it. They're like, well, you shouldn't be drinking anyway.
Yeah,
and drinking is evil.
And if you drink, we already told you in the propaganda and school books, if you drink, you're going to die.
You're going to explode.
Yeah, so
and it is because the government's putting poison in it.
Yeah,
but you will leave that.
It's not because the devil.
You will explode.
Yeah, you will explode.
You ever feed a tortilla chip to a seagull? That's what happens if you drink beer.
Is that what happens?
Yeah, they explode.
What? I thought it was rice.
I thought that was right up your alley, knowledge-wise. Dude, come on. Oh, it could be rice. Okay, see, you know something about exploding seagulls.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Because it's uncooked rice.
Okay.
And it expands in the stomach or something.
Oh. I don't know if they actually explode. It's kind of
I've
like
seen
a wife's
one
tale.
Explode. It's a wife's tale.
Mm-hmm.
That's no yarn of mine. That's what the are we at?
All right, we are at so now we've entered into this Prohibition time in the 1920s, which leads to the rise of organized crime to satisfy a public need, which is always what Al Capone would say when people asked what he did. He's like, I meet a public demand.
Yeah, he's a man of the people.
Man of the people.
He was a celebrity. He would
He
would go to baseball games.
Was a thing.
Yeah, and he would sign autographs.
Yeah.
People would
cheer when he came in the stadium.
That's very to think about when it's so strange to think about that now, but I feel like that's more exciting than just a movie star or an actor. You're like, that guy's dangerous.
He's dangerous, and he also donates to charity, and he's powerful.
People want to,
Right, but Tom Cruise might also be powerful in that way.
And for sure. He's got some Scientology stuff going on.
If you're on his bad side, he could probably...
I'm sure he's done away with a couple of people.
With his own skills or a hired hand.
I wonder why people always allow him to do his own stunts.
Right.
He probably lets you know.
That's probably what he says right before he murders you. I do my own stunts.
What's the Mission Impossible theme song plays?
I was thinking James Bond.
He's a Mission...
Is that it?
No. James Bond is...
Yeah, and then that's also...
Oh, you're doing just the trumpet section. Yeah, okay. No, yeah, then he runs down a skyscraper.
I don't know. We don't need to do.
Okay.
We don't need to get the Mission Impossible theme song. Look it up on your own.
We're gonna get into how the Prohibition led to the huge rise.
The rise of crime.
Rise in crime, organized and syndicated. Didn't think I'd really be inebriated. All right, but
went back home and masturbated. My wife's out protesting. She's frustrated.
Ooh, I'm drunk again at the home.
Yeah, she thinks the beatings are overrated. I try to tell her it keeps me sated.
Sated.
Yeah.
Satiated.
All on my rage from the fact that I'm constipated.
Ooh. I got the milk shits. Okay. So the reason I think why we even know who Al Capone, Frank Capone, any of these notorious mobsters are is because Prohibition. Mobsters were always around. Well, they were around in America, but they were just doing small-time crime. They were running kind of local gambling, brothels,
opium trafficking.
Yes.
Hijacking, like Frank and Jesse James.
Yes.
Like a little Wild West in the city. So we're going to talk about Frank Capone and kind of organized crime in general and like how he got started in the gangs. And one of the gangs that really helps Frank and Al, obviously, rise up is when you're living on your knees, got to rise up. Tell your wives better get out of my bar.
My pub. Whoa.
They rose up through the 5 Points gang, which was this gang in New York. If you're wondering what the 5 Points is, it's this basically section between Soho and the financial district, basically Chinatown. That used to be filled. It was like an immigrant slum. Italians, Jews, Irish, oh my, Scottish, whatever. Like a bunch of different types of whites.
And the lowest
immigrants.
big slums.
They lived in a tenement in the Navy Yard, which is interesting. People were trying to get away from the waterfront, which everyone's trying to buy property there now. But eventually, when Frank was 10 years old, I guess I was a little younger, they moved to Park Slope.
Yes, and
they're Brooklyn kids.
Brooklyn, baby.
Born to Mother Teresa Capone, who devoutly religious, super religious. They came from Naples, Italy. You know, these guys, they're God-fearing, they're good people. There's no reason for these kids to turn out the way they did. But let me tell you, they did. And they did involved. In a big way. In a big way, they got involved. It was not a good life for immigrants. No. Al Capone got kicked out of school when he was 14 for slapping the shit out of his teacher.
Wow.
And that's, he's like, well, I'm going to live a life of crime now because I'm on the streets and this is opportunity. Like, they were really... Italians were like OG Mexicans. Mm-hmm. They were very taken advantage of. You get off the boat and they're like, get your suckers here, fresh off the boat, suckers. Like in the 90s and the 80s, Italians came to America and they had these padrones, which might have even been like Italians exploiting Italians. Italian on Italian crime.
Whoa, the worst kind.
The worst kind. There was like a contract labor system where they basically would be like corrupt one-man temp agencies to get you jobs, but then secure a very low rate for you.
Oh, and
or like get you a house
and they
or
make
an
more
apartment,
money off of
but
you.
then they just squeeze you.
Yeah.
Yeah. For like all you work, you get a low wage and they take most of it.
And also a lot of these people were, they're just because you're Italian, you have to remember back then all the...
You're Italian.
Yeah.
How does this make you feel? You okay?
I mean, I don't really think
triggered?
I can handle it, but I'm glad my people are getting a voice. Okay? we ain't just pasta makers, okay?
No.
But a lot of this isn't just poor people as well. All of the groups were prejudiced against each other. So not only were you in a shitty neighborhood, but you were poor.
You're next to the dirty Irish.
You're next to the Irish that's trying to kill you, and that's how gangs started.
Yeah.
Is they formed their own gangs within their community, and then they tried to protect against the prejudice of other immigrants, and then eventually these gangs would just turn to crime.
Does any of your family, like I know your grandma has certain food racism, but does any of your family have like weird, like the fucking mix? Those fucking...
Yeah, they don't like Serbian.
Serbian?
No.
Okay, well, that's almost not white, but it's still white.
No, it's another...
so that's okay.
There's a thing... I don't know if it's Serbian or not, but there's a race where they're like...
Serbians are like, who takes your daughter when she goes to France, and then...
There's no.
Liam Neeson's got to get her
but
back.
No, yeah, they all have there's a race that I can't remember. It's not Serbian that they're like they're so below us.
You're just blanking on the race.
They'll be like fucking.
The Bulgarians.
I only hear the race when I'm Italian because they're the only people who talk. It's a race where I'm like, who? Who are those people?
Slovakia,
And they're
Slovenia?
like, no.
Uruguay? Juan Nicolone? Poor bastard. Pushed under the bus by Nona herself.
But yeah, there is.
Look up Juan Nicolone, by the way. He's very funny.
So funny.
Very
Favorite
funny. Soup comedian. Very funny
I like
voice,
soup.
and he's so nice.
Shout a soup, and I'll tell you if it's
shout
good.
the soup. I'll fuck you.
Have you seen? Yeah.
Not the soup. Bad soup.
It's funny. The fuck you really works with the accent.
Yeah. Go look up Juan Nicolone. You'll have a laugh.
Very funny.
You'll have a laugh. You'll have a laugh at Juan.
So now they're coming. So they come to America. They get taken advantage by their own kind.
By their own kind. IT on IT. It's an IT scuffle. Fuck. Where was I?
The Padrones.
The history of the 5 Points gang. Okay, so one opportunity to make money is like get out of this weird contract exploitative these shitty jobs and just let's stop picking olives here and go make some real money.
There's no money in squishing grapes into olive oil anymore, kid.
Exactly. So Al and Frank joined the 5 Points gang, and so I want to talk a little bit about the history of it because it is pretty wild. The 5 Points gang was run by this mobster, John Torrio, who looks pretty mild-mannered. If you look up a picture of John, he's like looks like a friend's dad.
Yeah, he does.
Looks like very normal, just like no shoes in the house. That's all he would say. Mm-hmm. Like a nice guy.
Quiet type.
He's known as the Fox, kind of a crime genius, who consulted for Lucky Luciano after he handed off the gang to Al Capone. Like he was the originator of the bootlegging for the 5 Points gang. We'll talk about that in the Patreon with Al Capone. But I would love to see what mob consulting looks like. You know what I mean?
Ooh, yeah.
He's like, so this is how you break a man's knee. Okay? You want to start here at the tibia or whatever, you know what I mean? You're going to whack this guy, then this guy. Don't flip him up. Sorry. Torrio. So a lot of these guys, they start doing some like low-level street hustle. Like they'll be a porter. They'll carry shit around for people, like illegal goods. They'll be like, hey, take this box to him. Don't open it. Yeah. Don't open it. And I'll know if you opened it. They'd be bouncers. that type of job where it's almost like, when you see a bouncer, it's like criminal adjacent. You're like, you could, if you meet one guy who sees how big you are, you could be involved in something.
Yes,
if he offers you an opportunity,
you could be drafted.
You're big enough to be drafted.
You like money, big guy?
To crime. Yeah.
Huh? You want respect? People don't respect you when you're a bouncer.
You got good eyes. Check a lot of IDs.
I got a suit with your size. Hard to find. Have it tailored. New suits every day.
He's bribing him with his
money,
connections
respect,
at
suits.
Big and tall.
Mobsters, yeah, exactly.
He's like, I know the GM at Big and T.
It's my brother. Don't say anything. He's not in the business anymore. That's when they say the part of the family business. It's all Big and Tall stores.
Right.
We make fat suits.
It's Sleepy's mattress stores and Big and Talls. We want you comfy. So this Torrio guy started as a bouncer, whatever. He joined some low-level gangs, saved up enough to buy a pool hall that became a hangout where Al and Frank met him. Mm-hmm. But this initial success from Torrio got the attention of Paul Kelly, who was a sophisticated mobster. This guy spoke Italian, French, and Spanish, which still makes sense because you're like first generation or second generation or whatever that is. Your parents are Italian speakers. You live in a very ethnically diverse place.
Yeah, you're going to pick up a little lechuga.
Right, but it's lechuga?
It's lettuce.
Yeah, it is lettuce. Very good. Little naranja.
Yeah.
And he appreciated classical music and art. He realized that being living like a sophisticated New Yorker would help you fit in like them. And so and I think he was a smart guy. So he could get down and dirty, but he could walk with the highfalutin people. So he also instills that in Torrio, who then instills that in Al Capone. So these people are being kind of groomed to be sophisticated gangsters, which is kind of cool.
Big obsession with being a gentleman and looking like a gentleman.
It's important.
And looking nice.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to look nice. So, Torrio joins for the 5 Points gang and gets Al and Frank involved. Al Franken gets Al Franken involved in organized crime. They got legal business, but it's also supplemented with all the shit we talked about, loan sharking, prostitution. I do want to talk about Paul Kelly just a sec, who was the guy before Torrio.
Okay.
Paul was in my eyes, was the Wayne Wheeler of organized crime because he realized that elections were the way to gain you power. It's the true way to profit. If you can get a government official elected who will turn a blind eye or take a bribe or whatever. So at the time, Paul Kelly was kind of running this racket. There was a bunch of politicians called Tammany Hall or something that he had in his pocket. And the only rivals to him was Monk Eastman's gang. Their mentality in the 5 Points gang was fight to the death. These guys were vicious. And the only contesting was this guy, Monk Eastman. If you scroll down, there's a picture of his fat head.
Oh, I saw this.
He looks like a corpse who was reanimated.
Yeah,
he literally looks like he was they got him out of the river. He's so bloated. So there's a feud going on that starts when a 5-pointer shot Monk Eastman himself, who was also trying to win over some politicians. And Paul's like, you put a stop to this. So this feud continues, and this is a big theme of what, poke some holes in just the gang's strength overall. But the feud escalates to both gangs openly engaging in a firefight that was 100 people. It was 50 5-pointers versus 50 of Monk Eastman's guys for hours. And cops were called. They're like, forget about it.
Yeah, we don't have...
This is crazy.
Cops are showing up with rocks to throw. They're like, what is that? They had the mobs.
They have pistols.
Well, the mobsters probably have the Tommy guns. They
have Tommy guns. They have 100-round Tommy guns. Yeah, exactly. So they're pepper spraying, all the town red, and the police are like, we got to get out of here.
Yeah, this is bad.
This is crazy. Let's just let this play out.
Yeah, this is my first day.
Yeah. Shockingly, only 3 men were killed.
Yeah, that's a lot of inaccurate mobsters.
Yeah, I feel like it's like a true mobster shot where you go out, fire from the hip,
yeah, you're just hoping to get somebody.
Yeah, you're spraying like a sprinkler would.
Yeah, just a fire.
Aim at the guy.
Other things are just getting shot up. You're like, dude, come, what are you doing? Fire hydrants are exploding.
In front of you.
Dude.
Yeah.
I just got that windshield.
Ding. So the police finally get control when they get, they run out of bullets, and they arrest Eastman. He only spends a few hours in jail. And then this is when it gets... Go ahead.
Doesn't he also go to court and he says, I'm not guilty? And they're like, yeah, whatever. He goes, trust me, I'm innocent.
Probably.
I think they bring him to court and he's like, that wasn't me.
Yeah,
and they're like, it wasn't you, Shaggy.
A Tammany-controlled judge released him after he swore he was innocent.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he got just immediate impunity. They're like, we'll sweep up the shells.
They're like, Monk Eastman? Big fan. Get out of here, kid. Love your work.
Love your liquor.
That stuff's good.
Yeah. So this is my favorite part of this. This is why I wanted to dive into this part of the history. There was a lot of public backlash about the hours-long shootout downtown. Shocker. So politicians brought together the two leaders. They were like, look, guys, we can't have another one of these. This is bad. We're going to set up a boxing match where the winner's gang takes the disputed territory, that they're arguing over. So whatever your squabble is, we're going to settle it 1v1. And hundreds from each gang met at an abandoned house in the Bronx. Jeez, at a house with 100 people. That's crazy. People hanging out on the rafters.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, they're on the roof like a bunch.
Kelly.
Get your beer here.
Yeah, they're selling.
Yeah.
There's
baby beer, adult beer.
Do you want a sample of our liquor? There's one of those girls.
It's new
from the liquor store.
It's called a seltzer. It's called a hard seltzer.
Hey, it's not bad.
But it
kind of feel gay though.
It's no grog. Is this like grog?
Kelly had been a boxer.
Yeah.
In his younger days, but Monk Eastman's a huge piece of meat. And they both, again, lasted hours. By the end of the match, both had been, bloodied and beaten. Neither man had been knocked out. The match was declared a draw. Both men went back to their teams and were like, guys, we are still at war.
Yeah.
Nothing has changed.
Nothing's changed. My nose is definitely a little crooked, and that's the only thing that's new.
Monk Eastman looks like his picture was taken, a few weeks after the wounds kind of healed, but his face is still lumpy.
No, he definitely looks beat up in this picture. If that's, how he looks normally, either it's that or he's got a dairy allergy because something's going on. Or he ran into a beehive before this.
Is there a bee in this mugshot room? Does somebody have peanut butter?
Does he have peanut? Oh,
does somebody have peanut?
It's closing.
One officer's like, what? We were gonna give him the death penalty anyway. Just finish your snack. So the politicians, after this draw, were like, all right, we're just going to back Kelly because he speaks a lot of languages.
He's a cool guy.
He's a cool guy.
Yeah,
he's an elite-style gangster. Monk looks like a pig who was turned into a man. So
it's like man, bear, pig.
Later, Eastman was tried to, stage a robbery. He could hardly see through his eyes that were black and swollen. And he's beaten unconscious by a cop during a robbery.
They really hated him.
Yeah, sentenced 10 years to Sing Sing. Sent him up to Sing Sing, which is a maximum security prison.
Jeez.
And then they began expanding in New York, New Jersey. Kelly survives getting shot 3 times in an assassination attempt.
I think he got shot 3 times in the stomach, too. How do you survive?
That's where they shoot you. That's where they shot Monk.
Oh, maybe I'm wrong. Then maybe it was just Monk that got shot.
3 times is probably likely you get in the stomach.
Yeah, at least one in the stomach.
Yeah. So the 5 Points gang is basically now uncontested, right? Monk's in jail. They have another leader. Who cares? So Torrio, who is pretty high up with the 5 Points, gets invited over to Chicago.
I think he gets invited, but it's to clean up a mess.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Torrio in 1909, when 1895, 5 years. So what's his face? Frank's 14.
Yeah.
So Frank's starting to be a little street rat at this point, but Torrio's an adult. Moves to Chicago to help his quote uncle. It's not really his uncle. Big Jim Colosimo, like a family friend, to deal with extortion demands from the Black Hand, which became a catch-all term for violent extortion that took the form of bomb threats.
Whoa.
And this is crazy. I found this fascinating. A letter would typically, in these extortion rackets, would be shoved under your door with a black hand drawn on it, threatening to dynamite your house or kill your family if you didn't pay up. Because of the unified imagery of a black hand, people started to think of it as a centralized society like the mafia.
Wow.
It even became synonymous with the mafia. They're like, oh, they're coming to get you. This is how they enforce it. That's not the case. These threats were typically unrelated individual extortion rackets that just used the same menacing symbol. So which gave you power, because if you're a lone bully or a thief who declared yourself, I'm with ISIS.
Yes.
I'm with the Black Hand.
I got control of the Black Hand.
Then suddenly you have all this street cred and prestige of being part of this shadowy, powerful organization that's everywhere but nowhere.
Yeah.
Right? So people would just, it's like a little mark that actually meant nothing. It was just a type of extortion. But it's kind of cool that people were just I'm Black Hand.
I'm in
it's
the Black Hand.
There is no.
Yeah,
You have meetings, you don't have meetings.
Yeah. No, we do.
There's no leader. It's just a type of racket that
and
became.
There was nothing that ever. You didn't find anything about a house actually blowing up or anything.
Oh no! They blew up houses.
Oh, okay.
For real. No, there was a lot of bombings but they investigated. They even had, because the Black Hand was a lot of, again, Italian on Italian violence, and there was a commission I don't know why this is funny. A commission that was drawn up by like an Italian union leader to investigate the bombings to see if they were connected, and they were not.
Wow.
They were unrelated.
Yeah.
They were just like individuals trying, who had grudges or whatever. So 2 years before Torrio moved there was a society that popped up in Chicago called the White Hand, which was backed by the Union Siciliana, the Italian Chamber of Commerce, and the Italian consul. It was the first systematized effort by Italians for Italians to defeat the Black Hand threats.
Ooh,
however,
hand of justice.
The society eventually faded after its leadership faced extortion and death
Hilarious.
threats. We're going to cover up that white hand with this black hand right now.
That society went ahead and I think they stopped because they all got blown up. I don't know what happened.
The Anti-Extortion Society, unfortunately, was extorted to death. And so now they call in John Torrio to clean shit up. And
they had to call in the Fox.
They had to call in the Fox. Can I read you a letter from the Black Hand? Here's an example letter. Okay. So, all caps. Dear friend. You know if a letter starts with dear friend, you're going to die.
Mm-hmm.
Dear friend. Beware, we are sick and tired of writing to you to the appointment you have not come with people of honor. People didn't know how to write very well.
No, that's terrible.
I know. We're sick and tired of writing to you to the appointment you have not come with people of honor. If this time you don't do what we say, it will be your ruination.
I mean, these guys are wasted writing this, right?
Send us $300 with people of honor. At 11 o'clock Thursday night.
What's a person of honor?
Listen to me. There will be a friend at the corner of 15th Street and Hamilton Ave. He'll ask you for the signal. Give me the word, and you will give him the money. 300 bones. Beware that if you don't come to this order, we will ruin all your merchandise and attempt your life. I like that they were, like, measured in their threat. They're like, we don't know if we're going to succeed. We will attempt your life. Beware of what you do.
Yeah.
Signed, the Black Hand. So... that's the type of letters that you would get. You get someone be like, "Look, man, I'll fucking fuck you up.
Blow your shit up,
$400, and I'll come with a judge.
I'm gonna fuck your wife and kill your
man of honor.
If you don't come with honor, man, your cat. Woo.
If you don't come with a samurai, or maybe a top-ranking Marine, then the deal's off.
There better be a judge with you, or I'm blowing everything you own up."
So that's kind of the Black Hand deal.
Wow,
so,
what an interesting society.
Yeah, well, it's not a society. It's just an interesting
concept.
Meme.
Acting.
It's like a meme. It's like a death meme. You know what I mean? Share it. Dead.
Well, okay, so Colissimo.
So Torrio shows up and he starts working with Colissimo. Okay, remember, this is pre-Prohibition. Okay, 1919, Torrio asks Al Capone and later Frank Capone to work at a bouncer and a bartender at the Four Deuces.
Now we're back in the pool hall.
This is Chicago.
Okay.
Torrio's in Chicago.
Got it. He invites them.
Fast forward 10 years. Torrio's been in Chicago. Capone, come work with me. Clean up these streets like I cleaned them up. And by clean them up, I mean dirty them up. Capone arrives, works as a bouncer, bartender for the Four Deuces, a Colissimo gang establishment. And then Torrio becomes the boss. In the 1920s, so right after Capone arrives, Big Jim wins a divorce from his wife and elopes with Dale Winters, who's this like nice actress who he's apparently in love with. Which I feel bad because whenever a gangster is like, I'm truly happy for the first time in my life. I'm not on the run. I'm in a good position. I love my wife. And then like a month later, Jim refuses to participate in bootlegging for some reason. He's very stubborn about that. So Torrio tells Colissimo that a shipment's going to arrive at his restaurant. Frankie Yale flies him in from New York, meets Big Jim there, shoots him dead.
Yep, a setup.
Thought that he went soft after Marion Winters. Got a little
sad.
I know it is. Sad.
Like this guy's finally happy. We gotta. I guess
maybe I don't know. Maybe he would have killed you. Like,
yeah,
that's
maybe the thing is like maybe there had to be some things that have happened beforehand to be like let's just kill him.
Retiring isn't an option. We have to kill him.
We gotta whack him.
We
gotta tell him he's got some business coming in. It's also I mean that's the thing. The last time, hopefully
that's every time how they assassinated.
Yeah,
people.
it's always
we got
lie.
a shipment coming in, big discount.
Yeah, big discount.
If ever you hear 30% markdown, you're gonna die.
Yeah,
you know,
a lot of money in it for you. Come alone, friend.
Fire sale.
I think I'm gonna go.
I don't like how he said fire.
But it's
fire.
It's all caps in the letter. It's the only thing that's all caps in the letter. Does that mean it's like lit?
So now with Big Jim dead, and Frankie Yale's gonna come back. By the way, he's a known assassin. that we'll hear about later. With Carlissimo dead, now Torrio is the leader of the South Side Gang in Chicago. We'll talk about the rivalry with the North Side Gang in the Patreon and Al's life, but for now, we're going to get back to Frank Capone and how he's involved in Chicago, in this Chicago that Torrio has set up, right? We're bootlegging, we're getting going. Torrio has put down different gang feuds by brokering a lot of, he's like arbitrating deals. He's like, look, you get a cut. This is my territory. You work through me. We all make money.
Yeah.
This is why he's seen as a genius. Al Capone did the same thing. He has people work together to avoid infighting, which weakens everybody. So he's making buku bucks.
Huge.
But like insane, like Jeff Bezos level money. Like for the time. Like as much money as you can make in oil or whatever you were making in bootlegging. So everything's going pretty good for Torrio until Chicago elects this new mayor.
William Dever.
Dever.
What do you think, Dever or Dever? Okay, let's say it right now. But
never say Dever.
Never
that
say
would be my anti-Dever
Dever
campaign. Yeah, never say Dever.
Yeah, that's good.
That's my anti-campaign.
Yeah.
That's my slander. What's that? My muckraking on Dever. Well, I Dever.
Nevertheless.
In 1923, they elected Dever, who cracked down on Chicago crime. So you got this hard ass. I mean, this guy is the whitest. He actually looks like the marshmallow guy in Ghostbusters became a guy.
I haven't seen it.
You haven't seen it? The big marshmallow man? He looks like he would be, sipping whiskey in front of a fire talking about the skull size of different races.
Yes, he definitely. That's
well,
exactly. Yeah.
The Negroid. It's like, whoa, William, whoa,
oid. Hard oid on there.
He went hard oid.
That's
Jesus
crazy.
Christ. So they have to move to Cicero,
which is a southern suburb of Chicago, which I think is still pretty bad today.
You lived in Chicago.
I lived in like
you
a
go to
suburb.
Cicero?
I think I did go to Cicero.
Yeah?
I think it's still a bad area.
Yeah.
No, sorry, Cicero. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Ciceroians.
You Ciceroans. So Frank and what was it? The Southside Gang. That was their gang name in
Yes.
Chicago.
Yes.
Dever comes in, cleans up the streets, and now the Capones are forced to move to the south side of Chicago. And this is where we have our big Frank introduction, because Al puts Frank in charge of the city council. And that means he basically just gets the city council officials on his payroll, which was very easy to do. You're in Cicero. There's no problem. These people are making money. How much are they making a year?
Yeah, it's like, take over the local elections.
Yeah.
And it's a pretty unsuspecting town.
Yes.
But it's so close. It's like a 17-minute drive from like the heart of the city in Chicago,
Yeah.
like the Loop.
Yeah, so they start. Yeah, actually, I know the freeways out there. Yeah, it's pretty easy. You're just kind of everywhere you want. He gets
Joseph Z.
Klena. He gets him under the payroll.
Klena folded like a leaf.
I mean, instantly.
Instantly.
He's probably never seen a wad of cash in a suit that nice before in his life.
Absolutely
Immediately
not. Yeah.
gets under Frank Capone's payroll. And also, remember, Frank Capone, we learned earlier, was a very short-tempered man. He had 500 bodies under his belt.
It's the weird thing, though, because like I read such conflicting accounts of like Al was the gentleman. And then, Frank was the gentleman. That's why he was tasked with liaising with these politicians.
I think they both were gentlemen. I think they both were trying to be the same archetype of
Just
mobster.
depends on what article you read about whether they try to portray him as a ruthless criminal,
They both
a
wanted
sociopath.
to be, a true hero or a brutal criminal. What do you think?
Yeah. Robin Hood, no good.
Not all heroes wear suits.
But this one does, and it's Versace, baby.
Yeah.
It's Gucci.
Well, by the way, we'll talk about this
we're going to
later.
talk all about Al Capone.
But the price of the suits that these mobsters were wearing was not cheap.
Yeah, it was insane. We'll talk about his lavish lifestyle and Al Capone in general in the Patreon. But yeah, Frank, they had Klena's balls and a vice grip. They could do whatever they wanted.
Yeah.
It was literally like the red light district. Like it was like open debauchery.
Yeah.
Like saloons open, just like bars in.
Yeah.
You could just go to a bar.
Brothels next to schools and just next to libraries was a fucking meth lab. And you're like, this is the way Cicero is.
Yeah, I love
Klena's like, I love my city.
Yeah.
I love my city, or do I love my city?
Klena for re-election.
Where else can you go in the world, get a book, a blowjob, and an education?
All on the same block.
Cool. Right, guys?
With some shots.
Cicero. The public hated it.
The public, they did hate it.
Eventually
they hated it because they had to. Yeah, sorry, I was distracted. The public did hate it because of how violent they were in enforcing this whole political. They did not win people over diplomatically.
Yes,
You know
it was
what I mean?
all strong-handed.
Yeah. So like there was Clenna was in danger of not being reelected. Right?
The people.
There was an incumbent.
Yeah.
William Flauf.
Was it William Flauf?
It really is William Flauf. It's P. It's hold on. It's SDE. It's giving very SDE. Small dick N. I really think it was. I can't find it right now, but that was the Democratic incumbent.
Yeah, what happened was the public grew to hate Capone and just the city that they ran amok in the city. They turned it into a Grand Theft Auto level, basically. There's just hookers and bullets and books and schools and everything that's going bad. So the public kind of...
You include education in it every time. There's
It's
libraries.
libraries and, those are all bad.
Aquariums.
And bowling alleys.
And zoos and
bar mitzvahs.
brothels.
And they got together, and the public opinion was, look, the only way we're going to get any headway is if we vote somebody else into the city council.
He's going to clean this town up.
And his name was
William Flauf.
William Flauf.
Yeah.
And then
a man as weak as his name, they shot him, I think.
They raided his...
They beat him up. They didn't shoot him.
They raided his house and beat the shit out of him.
And they would like destroy campaign headquarters for this guy.
Yeah.
Because he was like a real challenger. People did not like these gangsters like running amok.
Yes.
In the town, which got even worse because then they went to the polls and you literally had a guy in the voting booth with you with like a sawed-off shotgun.
Yeah, well, they weren't expecting it. That was, I think, Frank's, like you were saying earlier, drastic times call for drastic measures. Even after the raid and the intimidation on Flauf, he still was in the running and the public was about to elect him. So Frank pulled out the literal big guns out and said, look, this is what we're going to do. We're going to go to
very closely.
We're going to go to the polls. We're going to ask people coming in who you voting for. And if they say Flauf, we are going to beat them up. We're going to kidnap them.
Yeah.
And we're going to take them hostage. And then when we take them hostage, we're going to take their ballot, vote in Clenna, put it in the box.
Yeah, people who truly resisted, they would do that too. Some people would be like, who you voting for? And you'd be like, Clenna. And they're like, you maybe do a few laps of voting. Maybe 3-4 times vote for him.
Yeah,
That'd be a good idea.
We had a couple of ballots.
Yeah, we got a few extra ballots.
Hey, let me show you what's in this door. They open up a door to 50 hostages.
Yeah.
And you're like,
if you were going to vote for Flauf, they'd be like, oh, Clenna. That's a weird way to say Clenna. Flauf? I think you're mispronouncing Clenna. So you're going to want to hate Clenna there. And then if you wouldn't do any of that, then they would tie you to like what are they called? Not a furnace.
radiator.
Radiator. You
Yeah.
tie you to a radiator. They
Turn the
locked
heat
people.
on.
They locked like 8 campaign managers in like the bottom of like a plumbing store.
Yeah, I think they shot one person in the knee.
legs.
Yeah.
They shot both of his legs and just like let him bleed out.
Yeah, in front of the other hostages.
It was actually very fucked up. Like
Yeah.
people were getting like politicians and just voters were getting like beaten up if they were going to vote Democrat.
I wonder if Clenna was for this too.
This is the original January 6th.
Yeah.
This is the dirtiest election in American history.
Really?
The 1924 local election in Cicero. It is. Because they were they were shooting people and beating people up if you vote Dem, which I guess not much has changed, huh?
So the public goes to the county judge and they say, hey, look, we're being killed for voting the way we want to vote. And then, what was it? The county judge, he deputized 70 officers and sent them down to Cicero. And the story goes, Frank is down there by the polls. The officers arrive.
Beating up people to vote right.
Yeah, they're beating people up. And this is where the story splits, I think. There's one version that as soon as the cops arrive on the scene, they start shooting. Frank starts shooting. It's like immediate. There's no moment. Right?
Okay.
That's what I've read, is that like as soon as there's one story. The cops arrive, it's just an all-out mass. They just start shooting. There's immediate gunfire, bloodshed. There's no time to be like for them to sneak up on anybody. There's a version that Frank saw the cars pull up. I think they were like limousines and regular cars to trick the gangsters.
Plainclothes cops.
Yeah.
Yeah, he thought it was a rival gang. Is what
Yes.
That's what I heard.
That's what I read too. Is that they saw the limousines and was like, "Oh, these are rival gangs pulling up on us. We got to shoot as soon as they open the doors."
Funny for a rival gang to roll up in a limousine.
Yeah.
It's the North Side.
Yeah.
Look at the lights in there.
Yeah.
They got a party going.
Yeah. You got champagne.
Yeah, those boys are partiers. It must
Yeah.
be them. Them North Side partiers.
North Side party is showing up.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. So Frank just opened fire, and I don't even think he hit anybody. He was like gunned down immediately.
Yeah.
Like at like point blank range. They're just like, whoa, 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 what the fuck? And a lot of people fled. And there's legend that Al Capone got away because Frankie shot first, and I was like, hey, I gotta get out of here. Runs to safety. This guy, every crime scene Al Capone is seen fleeing from.
That's how he lives, though.
That's what people think, but I don't think that's true. I don't think he was there.
No, he wasn't. It was, rumored that it was Frank Capone and 2 other gangsters were there, and one of them got away. I think they arrested. I think initially they killed Frank. They arrested the other guy who tried to run, and then a third, shorter, fatter man was seen running away. So they're like, it's got to be Capone.
That guy's Al.
Got to be Fat
That's
Al
Fat
Capone.
Al if I've ever seen one. That's Big Al.
I wonder if Al Capone got the news and was like, they think I'm Fat Joey? That's humiliating.
They mistook me for Joe?
That guy's twice as fat as me, right, fellas? And the other gangsters are like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, so 3 times.
Yes, Jesus Christ.
Incredibly fat
And
compared to you.
you're beautiful.
Well, you got to eat more.
You're beautiful, Snorky.
You Snorky.
Come on.
Yeah.
You're skinny as a rail, kid.
Yeah.
Have another ham. Have another whole ham. Anyway.
Throws him a whole ham. Wait, hold on. I had something about
The third guy.
Al running away. The third guy.
Third guy blind.
Third guy blind. Yeah, I don't know. It's weird to me that people like. I don't know why that adds to it. They're like, yeah, Al barely made it out. You know.
Yeah,
there's a lot of yeah.
I mean, they love it. It was all they had back then for celebrity, and
that's true. He was a celebrity before like TV, and a celebrity was a thing.
Yeah,
yeah.
So maybe that's what it was. But I forgot the name. And I can find it in a second.
A Tall Tale.
It's a Tall Tale because they caught the guy. They caught the third fat guy, and it was like Joey Toenails. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, so so Frankie died, and then they threw him funeral fit for a king. They shelled out.
Yeah.
Al went and bought $20,000 worth of flowers from this guy O'Borden. Was that his name?
Who was like a rival gang member, right?
Yeah, he was like one of the leaders or a higher up in the North Side gang. Dean O'Banion. That guy sounds like a fucking Mick. Fucking Lucky Charms eating bitch. Yeah, so in 1924, Frank Capone, at the age of 28, got a very lavish funeral with $20,000 worth of flowers. You needed 10 cars to carry all the flowers, placed around a silver-adorned casket, and 150 cars in the motorcade. Al got the flowers from the shop that became the headquarters of the Northside Gang, from Dean O'Banion, which is important. Remember that name for the Patreon. Yeah, so just like a shit ton of flowers. Even the cops apparently showed up that shot Frank, strangely. People were like, is this a message? They like stood in the, and like cops are in the distance being like,
yeah.
Just want to make sure he goes in.
Yeah.
So he doesn't creep back and haunt me in my dreams. Maybe it's out of respect. Hey,
I think it's out of respect.
Hey,
I think
I got you, but
good on you.
Well fought.
Cicero forever. My favorite library's over there.
Huge chest tattoo, just flips up his shirt. Cicero forever.
Cicero.
All the cops at once. 1, 2, 3. Nipples.
Yeah.
Cicero
different
forever.
letters. Just C-I.
Out of respect for his dead brother, Al Capone closed the gambling dens and speakeasies of Cicero for 2 hours during the funeral. And that's nice.
2 hours is nice. That's enough.
And that's pretty nice.
That's pretty nice, Al.
So yeah, that's kind of Frank's a short life. We're going to talk about Richard Hart, the other brother that has a pretty storied life in the next Capone episode. Who do you think was more violent?
Frank.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think you're right.
Frank.
I think you're right because I think Frank was lower. And lower people
have
to be, that's what their job is.
Yeah, they have to just do more
Have
of
you
the
seen
grunt
Sopranos?
work. No.
No, but there's like guys who are like you consider
like henchmen
on a similar level. They're like lieutenants.
Yeah, okay.
But they're
not doing the work. The boss is doing the less killing.
Right.
The least killing.
He's fleeing. He's always fleeing.
He's always running away. All right, I'm the boss. I get to run away from every battle.
Yeah,
you
that'll
guys
be my role.
Stay and kill or be killed, okay? I'm the boss.
Once you see my back, keep fighting.
You are my 10-star sergeant. That's a cool title, right? You stay. You
10
stay right
star-
there and
50-star sergeant.
you stay right there and die for your boss.
So yeah, it is tough to kind of parse out like who was more. Yeah,
honestly,
it doesn't matter who was more what. They were
Yeah.
both pretty adept at socializing, but also being just like a criminal. What do you think about this? I was reading, there was like some letters from Alcatraz from when Capone was there, and he's by some historians revered for being able, just like they tip their hat to him for this, to be able to like order around murderers for hire who are seen as the worst type of men. They're weak, they're ruthless, no morals, and they're like the type of man you have to be, or person, to control that type of person well is like it speaks to something about you, some power that you wield.
Yeah.
So I thought that was kind of interesting. The trait of being able to order around, the skill to have murderers on a leash.
And that's excuse me, very hard to do. I think that's very respectable.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean,
to be able to handle them with such care and dominant. You have to handle them
and dominance.
Care and dominance. Al, respect you, buddy.
Charles' 2-step recipe to coming. Care and dominance. Actually, that's pretty good.
That is nice.
That's
what you needed yesterday. A little more care.
I need a little more care.
Yeah, you only had dominance.
Yeah, I was on the sidelines of dominance.
Anyway.
Yeah, Al's strategy apparently was always try to deal before you have to kill, and Frank's was you never get no talk back from no corpse. Which it seems like they zhuzhed it up. Like, you make it more dumb Italian.
Yeah, can you make it more...
you never get no talk back from it.
Motto, but make it Italian.
Right. You never get no talk back when they're swimming with the fishes.
Yeah. Pasta tastes better when there's blood in the sauce.
That's good.
How about that? Huh? It was just a bunch of college interns writing his speeches.
So, who's drinking? Anybody dating?
Anybody fucking out there? Anybody meet on the streets?
Yeah, I wonder how Frank was as a. I wish we got to learn more about Frank. He's not really. Al got so much attention. I think he is like. It's really hard to find stuff about Frank before this blaze of glory that he goes out.
Yes, and also
it's like the end of the town.
A lot of it's just kind of the same story, and then a couple of websites get things wrong. You kind of just have to sift through. Like, no.
Yeah.
I mean, the ultimate. I mean, the one question that we always have is who would you rather be? It's definitely Capone, just based off of the. I mean, everything. If nothing else, even if you hate the way he lived, his lifespan. He at least lived.
Yeah, it always comes down to lifespan. You know? That's like you'd want to be. I'd want to be Nanner roll over Mozart
for sure. Oh yeah. And also the way. I mean, the way that, as you'll find when you subscribe to the Patreon, the way that Capone lived his last couple. I mean, he didn't have a fantastic life after jail.
No, but he might have been too dumb to know that. From syphilis eating his brain?
Yeah, but that's what I'm talking. Like, that's just got to be, I don't know. I just feel like...
No, it's got to be horrifying.
Yeah.
Got to, the only way out is through. Just become a 7-year-old.
Yeah.
Just accept it. But, you got any other last thoughts on Frank? Frank Capone?
Frank, I think you lived the best life you could in your circumstance. I don't know what...
we like talk to them like we're looking over their grave.
Frank?
I
hardly knew you.
I'll forget you as soon as this episode's over. Frank, listen.
Frank,
if it wasn't you, it would have been someone else.
I'm going to be Frank.
Wrong place, wrong time.
Wrong place, wrong time. Yeah, what are your final thoughts on Frankie?
I don't know, man.
I don't know about there's just not too much to really form an opinion on him.
No.
We know.
I mean, he's a gangster. He's a criminal. He's a killer.
And a gentleman and a scholar, I guess.
Gentleman and a scholar, sweet hog, big butt.
Sure he was the most handsome guy. Really packing anything.
Sweet.
And I don't mean Tommy gun.
No.
I mean banana clip.
Oh yeah, that's what they were called.
Nice.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't really have much on Frank. How should we end this though?
Frank, what can we say about you, Frank?
Frank. What can I say that hasn't already been said? Oh well, hold on. The outcome of the election, Clenna won.
Oh, Clenna still won.
Frank's dead. Clenna wins. Frank loses. So he ultimately did achieve what he was trying to do that day, which was steer the election towards Clenna so that this reign of unending terror can continue.
Yeah, he didn't die in vain.
I guess not.
Which is hilarious for the judge or all the policemen to be like, all right, so all the ballots, we're going to count those now. It's like, redo it really quick.
Yeah, they're like, well, I mean...
The ballots are in the boxes, and we don't have a lot of paper left.
Right.
So we're going to count them as... They kidnapped us and changed our ballots. We're telling you that. Okay, but where are the ballots?
It's 5 o'clock.
Yeah, look, guys.
It was in the evening. It actually was at the end of their shift. So they were like, look, I got a lot of Frank paperwork to do.
Yeah.
I can't be just, what is it, 2 more years of Clenna?
Yeah.
Just
Come
drink
on,
it up,
guys.
have fun.
Yeah.
Have fun.
What do you don't like the brothels? I mean,
Fucking
really?
You virgins.
Yeah, come on, guys.
I go
What
to
is this,
those
the
things.
Women's Temperance Christian Union?
Matter of fact, I've never seen any of you guys there, you fleasers. That's right.
Yeah. You stay in there. You're not going to untie us? You stay in there a little bit.
Yeah, he pisses on him.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Frank did he got it done. I mean, he took it all,
Yeah.
but he got it done. So I don't know if we're gonna salute you, Frank, but
It was nice to learn about you.
it was nice to learn about you. You've been brought into the light, and I hope you guys learned something about Prohibition, which I know we covered a lot of.
Are you pro-hib?
Are you Prohib? Hit us up. Also, yeah, we are. I don't know. We're continuing to put more stuff on the Patreon. We're gonna go to the Patreon right now to talk about Al Capone and how he finally went down, the syphilis that ravaged his brain, his time in Alcatraz, the lavish life that he lived. You know, this weird Robin Hood celebrity who was also a very bad guy, but also a very good guy. We'll talk about him in the Patreon, but thank you guys for listening. Please follow us online at Overshadowed_podcast on Instagram. Just Google us. You know where to fucking go. I'm on Instagram at Zach Russell Comedy. Charles, where are you
I'm
at?
at Instagram and all other platforms at Charles_Engle. It's ENGLE. Follow us, subscribe. Also, tell your friends and leave a review. Thanks so
Please.
much for everybody that's been listening. I know we had a little bit of a break, but people kept listening. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. And share the apps, enjoy them, and also, send us DMs if you have any suggestions or
Yeah.
anything like that. Let us know.
Yeah.
We'll take the feedback.
One person DM'd me, this is a person I just met in person, but they were asking me about Mac Robinson. And
Very
that's why we did
cool.
Mac Robinson, because someone, told me about him.
Mhm.
So we're always open to suggestions. It's a dirty job, but someone's got to do it.
Yeah, we're Mike Rowe out here.
Yeah, we're slogging through shit to get you guys this info. And yeah, leave a review. Please rate the podcast 5 stars.
Please. Treat us like an Uber. Just give us 5 stars no matter what. I mean, what's the
$5
problem
every
here?
month.
Yeah.
Oh, we are going to try to implement a new
Nice.
Patreon thing for $10, $20. Go on the Patreon. We have some new tiers added. If you want to become kind of a producer of the show and pose questions that we'll answer on the podcast, we might do a weekly live Zoom call or Instagram live or something that you guys can come to and chat with us.
Also going to add content from stand-up that's not going to be seen anywhere else. We run 3 shows every week. There's a lot of goofy jokes that are made because we're feeling loose and goosey at our own shows. You can see all of those jokes. We have rap battles. We're going to bring back. It's very silly. We freestyle rap battle in front of at our own comedy shows. You can see
an
that.
audience we hold hostage.
Yeah, it's a lot like the election.
They like to do it, but
No.
yeah.
Yeah, we ask first. We do ask for consent to
There
rap.
are 3 Italians outside with Tommy guns in the
Yeah.
back. If one person dares move
Yeah.
before I can connect sloth and teak.
Oh,
Wood.
sloth and teak. Oh,
Sloth
yeah,
and
because
teak.
they give topics and we have to rap that on the spot. Also, if you're in New York, come to the show.
Oh, yeah.
You can see us do comedy every single week. You can follow us. The show that will most likely be at is Freestyle Comedy Show on Instagram. If you just happen to be in New York and you want to come see any stand-up, just hit us up as well. And keep listening, baby. Check out the
man.
Patreon. Leave us a review. And thank you so much for continuing to listen.
All right, y'all. Peace.
Bye.
Till next time.